setting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Ahead on American Sunrise Early Edition, remember the economy? It feels like a long time since it was the top of the news all by itself. But concerns about the job market are center stage today as we await the big August jobs report. I sure hope you weren't expecting any actual information to come out of yesterday's Senate hearings with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Partisanship aside, it was yet another parade of comments and attacks on him meant to go viral on social media. A new report says President Trump is giving Eric Adams and probably Curtis Sliwa until next week to drop out of the New York City mayor's race. If they don't get out by then, any job offer in the administration will turn back into a pumpkin. The now former president of Northwestern is looking for a new job. He stepped down yesterday, blaming pressure from the White House. These guys will do anything to avoid just doing the right thing by their Jewish students. And the little boy from Gaza named Amir, who was supposedly shot and killed by Israeli troops, is found alive and well. And oh, by the way, his name isn't even Amir. When will the folks in the mainstream media learn to check their so-called facts? American Sunrise Early Edition begins now.
Welcome to American Sunrise Early Edition. The show where faith, freedom, and the values that built this nation take center stage.
Your good deeds and bad deeds. That's how we're going to judge you.
Join host Jake Novak as he breaks down the stories that matter.
We will be letting the public know regularly what we have found.
American Sunrise Early Edition with your host, Jake Novak, starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to American Sunrise Early Edition. It is a no-tie Friday. I told you we were going to get to Friday faster this week because we got Labor Day off. See, I told you it didn't take that long. And we had a lot of big news during the week, but still a short week. Next week will be the tough one. Let's wait until then. Joining us now is former White House staffer and American Sunrise Early Edition political and legal contributor, Dr. James Nuzzo. Jim, things seem to be getting a little iffy around the job market. You know, I've talked on this show many times before about, sure, an economic slowdown could be coming. It could happen. Of course, that's always the case. You're a fool if you don't realize that. But I pounded the table letting people know that, like, look, the GDP reports, all the other reports about the economy say we're not there yet. But we are maybe seeing some hints of a slowdown in the job market. I think this has a lot to do with AI. I know people who are at very big law firms saying they're not hiring any new grads because AI all does the same work. What's your feeling about the economy overall? And do you think the job market is getting a little soft because maybe of technology or another reason?
Well, when you take a look at the job numbers, like most of these economic numbers, the press rightly looks at the top number. It's very much more complex to look beyond that. However, frequently the number that matters is not the top number, the sort of numbers that are buried far beneath. In today's numbers, for example, they'll give a unemployment rate and they'll give a participation rate in the economy. But if you bury deeply within it and you look at a number called the 4, at that point, you're going to look at real numbers that matter. No one ever sort of reports that number. That's the number of people who are actively looking for jobs, not just those who are sort of on the outs. So I'm looking for more detailed analysis, but I don't expect it for the media. Now, the question, how is the economy doing? I think the economy is in a wait and see mode. Trump's doesn't understand that being the president of the United States and using the notion of confusion, which is what he used all the time when he was doing negotiations to try to go and build a condo, have negative ramifications when you're running an economy. Because if you happen to be the CEO of a corporation, what you want more than anything is certainty. You don't care if things are going to have tax rates at 38% or 42% or 26%. Hey, you'd like 26%. But what you want to know is that next year it's going to be 26%. And that the year after it's going to be 26%, because then you can plan. And the problem that you have with Trump is that Trump will change his mind on a dime. Now, I understand why he's doing that as a negotiator. It puts the other side basically on the back foot. But it also means it's going to be an economic domestic cost. Because if you're someone who's running a company, you can't go and hire people who you then later have to fire because you don't know what the economy is going to do.
Yeah, I think that is something that a lot of people in America watching say, well, putting some of those bigger business powers on the back foot or, in that uncertainty is worth that sacrifice for now. And, we'll see. It's one of those things where we know we've made some serious sacrifices in this country to help out the big banks and the big powers that be, whether it was, bailing out the banks, bailing out the auto companies. And I think that one of the arguments for some of this uncertainty now for those big entities is, there's trying to be some evening out of the economy. Jim, I got to show you this latest poll on President Trump's favorability rating, because it's really interesting. Not so much that President Trump is ahead in it by 10 points, approval rating of 55%. This is JL Partners, pretty good polling outfit. They get a pretty good rating from the folks who rate these pollsters. But it's the dramatic shift from just a month ago, where in this very same poll, he was only at 49%, and there's some other polls where he was much lower. I have to think that this is very much the result of tremendous support across the country, even among people who don't usually support President Trump, for his crime crackdown. Obviously, it's only going on in D.C. right now, but I think a lot of people like this. This is proof that this is truly one of those 80-20 issues that people haven't been factoring in the past. Going against crime, sending National Guard troops just to patrol. If they were there shooting and bombing, that'd be another thing. But just to patrol some of these dangerous areas is clearly very popular, I think, and it's going to start showing up in other polls as well.
Well, what constantly amazes me is how President Trump is acting as Lucy with the football, and the Democrats are acting like Charlie Brown. He completely gets them to go and take positions because of their Trump derangement syndrome. Now, you could argue, and there are some interesting arguments as to whether the National Guard is the appropriate medium for going and dealing with crime issues. But that's not what the Democrats are doing. They're taking a step far. They're actually sort of taking the side of miscreants. There was a piece in the paper today about how they are working very hard to stop a child abuser from being arrested because he happens to be someone who ICE wants. Now, how do they think from a political standpoint that going and being on the side of a child abuser is something that the American public is going to like? I'm sorry. I've been in the political game now for almost half a century, and what I can tell you is that's crazy. That's absolutely just batshit nuts. I mean, it's not just me who's saying that. That's Jim Carville saying that. Everyone who's not sort of beholden to the far left wackadoodles that have taken over the Democratic Party realize that Trump can play them much like Lucy played Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I think it's amazing the hills that they're willing to die on. And by the way, something that I think people are forgetting. Let's talk about the illegal alien stuff. If there were an American citizen who was wrongly deported and all that, everyone in America would know his or her name right now. The best they've been able to come up with is Maryland man Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who not only is an illegal citizen, not only is an illegal alien, but has a pretty long rap sheet and some pretty good evidence of the fact that he is a human trafficker with an interest in children. That's the best guy they could come up with. You just know that there would be somebody like that. And if the National Guard troops had assaulted or injured someone who was innocent, that person would be a household name by now. It's been a few weeks now of this policy. It's also been of several months of the ICE policies and the deportations, and yet no sacrificial lambs like this. We haven't heard anyone like that. Again, the best they can come up with is Kilmer Garcia and some of these students at some of these schools who've been college students for 17 years. That's the best they can come up with. The Democrats need to find a better thing to rally around, and they're just not doing that. Now, I want to talk now about all of these reports saying that President Trump is ready to heavily meddle, talk about politics, in the New York City mayor's race. We know now, at least according to the reports in the New York Post, that he's telling people, we know for sure Eric Adams, probably Curtis Sliwa also, that any offer that he's willing to give them in the administration or something else to drop out of the race expires next week. So they better quickly do this. Nobody, I think, sane wants Zohran Mamdani to become the mayor of New York City. But is this the best way to defeat him? I wonder if in New York, with all the Trump deranged people, if there may be people who will now vote for Mamdani just because they think it's going to annoy Trump.
Look, it's always a double-edged sword, and you're right. New York City having a Trump endorsement is at best a mixed blessing. However, what is very clear, if you take a look at the polls, is unless Sliwa, who has about as much chance as I do to become the mayor of New York, not going to happen. By the way, Curtis, when you're over 70 years old, drop the hat. You look like a moron. You just look like an idiot. But you have Curtis Sliwa and you've got Eric Adams. And frankly, Eric Adams and Sliwa are not going to be mayor. But what they can do, if they continue to exist, is make bloody certain that Cuomo will not be mayor, which means that you're going to have an avowed communist as mayor. Now, I found it fascinating that actually George Will is supporting Mamdani. And he's doing it for what I think is actually a fairly decent reason, which is, okay, this is what you want. We're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you in spades. See how you like it. Now, unfortunately, that means that millions of New Yorkers are going to suffer and suffer greatly at this man's hands. Anybody who is as old as you and I happen to be, remember the time before Rudy Giuliani, who we pray is going to get better, and a series of absolutely horrific mayors that were in Gracie Mansion, and how bad New York was, and how many people got hurt economically and physically because of these people who didn't understand how to run a city. And unfortunately, what you're going to see is this on steroids. I don't think they have any idea, that is the New Yorkers, exactly how portable a lot of the money that happens to be in New York happens to be. If I'm Ron DeSantis and the people in Florida, if I'm Governor Abbott in Texas, if I'm even the Massachusetts governor, I'm already calling all of the financial service firms in New York City saying, why do you have to be there? With the internet, you don't have to be in New York. Why do you want to pay these taxes? Why do you want to have to put up with this horrible living condition? Come to our state. And even places like Massachusetts have a credible case to make to them. And New York City is going to discover, as England is discovering as they're sort of playing around with the idea of wealth tax, money's fungible, and it will indeed leave.
Yeah, I'll tell you some other people who are getting calls, drug traffickers, illegal alien traffickers, and also violent protesters. They know that they will not be punished under Mamdani's New York. It's not just about money leaving. It's also about who's going to come in and replace them. Dr. James Nuzzo, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Is the continued divide between President Trump and the Federal Reserve putting us behind the curve again? Can the Fed take the right action at the right time, or are we going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown? And what does this mean for your savings? Consider diversifying with gold through Birch Gold Group. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, global uncertainty and high inflation. And Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you have an IRA or an old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or just buy some gold to keep in your safe. First, get educated. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Just text America to the number 989898. Again, text America to 989898. Consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. That way, if the Fed can't stay ahead of the curve for the country, at least you can stay ahead for yourself. Coming up, another top college president calls it quits. He's blaming so-called Republican pressure, but honestly, making a few good changes would have been so easy for him. Emily Finn and I will talk about this when American Sunrise Early Edition comes right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul. Something shocking is happening with gold that the mainstream media won't report. Paper contracts for gold rarely result in physical delivery. But today, billionaires and major banks are demanding actual gold bars at 10 times the normal rate. Why the panic for physical gold? These institutional giants understand our $37 trillion debt means we're on a path to currency collapse. The good news, you can make the same move. A gold IRA from my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group lets you move your IRA or 401k into gold. To learn more, click below to get a free info kit on gold. Throughout history, gold has endured where currencies fail. Right now, the biggest players in the finance industry are proving this time won't be different. Click below for your free info kit from Birch Gold and diversify your savings now.
Don't you hate that dirty old hose? It kinks, splits, and it always leaks. And it's way too heavy to carry around. It's time to get the brand new pocket hose Copperhead. Just turn on the water and watch it grow to a full-size hose. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the new pocket pivot swivels 360 degrees. Just connect to the spigot and watch it pivot. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking back to a pocket-size hose. And it makes it easy to carry and put away. Call or go online now to get the super light 25-foot pocket hose Copperhead today for only $29.99. Order right now and get our 10-pattern thumb drive spray nozzle free. Simply use your thumb to turn it on or off. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. So call 1-800-956-8517 or visit getcopperhead.com. Order now.
Kimberly Addison, neighborhood ballpark. That's Wrigley Field live this morning on this No Tie Friday here on American Sunrise Early Edition. You've heard me talk about this before. Neighborhood ballparks, not only for baseball but for football, are the best. Going to a football game or a baseball game, have you get off an off-ramp on an exit on an interstate highway just doesn't have the same feel. Welcome back to American Sunrise Early Edition. I'm Jake Novak. Special thanks to all of you who are watching and commenting on Getter and Rumble. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Northwestern University President Michael Schill, well, I should call him former Northwestern University President, he's called it quits. He is citing the federal funding freeze that Northwestern has been under for the last few months as just being too much pressure. He's blaming the Republicans. This is an incredible story because as I bring in Emily Finn here, Emily, it's been shown that the things that the federal government wants them to stop doing, which is stop putting the Jewish students at Northwestern in danger, also stop with the DEI policies, that he's been saying one thing to the administration, but secretly keeping certain policies into place. This has been uncovered by a number of journalists. They're trying to play it both ways. Emily, I think what's going on here is they figure, well, President Trump will only be president for another 3 years and change. Let's just try to outlast him. And then when they try to do it, people like Michael Schill find that to be too exhausting. It's like trying to remember all the lies you're telling and trying to figure out like what word you should say publicly. It does get exhausting. And so he's quitting. But I have to say, Emily, just doing what the administration wants and what the American people want and what the law says you have to do is actually not that hard. It's really not that hard.
It is not that hard. And Jake, consider this for a second. You know, when I was reading this story about Northwestern, it made me think of my dad. He had this phrase growing up for me and my sister that you don't just take your ball and go home. That is exactly what this Northwestern president is doing. And that is a horrible example for all of the students at that school. It's also a horrible example that he made a deal with these pro-Gaza protesters on his campus, and he's basically supporting anti-Semitism. I mean, it's horrible. And yes, the Trump administration did freeze almost $800 million in federal funding for this school, but you need to come to the table and actually talk to your students, talk about the issues at hand. And I think it's just a horrible example that this man is setting for that school and for those young people, that if something doesn't go your way, you can just quit and just leave.
Yeah, and there's a tremendous amount of Qatari money, by the way, in Northwestern. Northwestern has a campus in Qatar, believe it or not. This is a lot about that. I think that these university presidents and administrators have said to themselves, again, they expect Trump to be gone in 3, and the people who support him, don't forget, the people who support President Trump, like the vice president, maybe Marco Rubio, they could be the next president. So the fact that they're banking on this being over within 3 years may not be such a good bet, by the way. And they're just figuring, well, that Qatari money's always going to be there, and we can't lose that. We got to really bow down to those masters. I think that has a lot to do with it. I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that at these universities, Emily, the tenured faculty, the radical tenured faculty who could never be fired, basically hold all the cards. A president, there's not one university president in America who can't be fired. They don't get the same kind of tenure. And I think that that math, that reality, that geometry, whatever you want to call it, is coming out here front and center. And they're basically just leaving.
The ones who suffer the most from the culmination of all of these issues, Jake, are their customers, which are their paying students that are paying their tuition money to be able to learn. And instead, they have to deal with all of these problems. It's really, really sad to see.
Yeah. And for the people who are saying, oh, this is interference in academic freedom, I just have to say, if you're talking to me, talking to Emily, please, who do you think you're talking to? We know exactly what's going on here. These universities act like untaxed corporations that make huge amounts of money. And when they lose some of this money that they were getting for free from the federal government, they suddenly decide that they can't hack it anymore. Emily Finn, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, you can catch Emily in American Sunrise. That's the 8 to 10 a.m. hour. So everyone check that out. Thank you so much, Emily.
Always great to be here. Thank you, Jake.
Hey, if you're stressed about back taxes, maybe you missed the April deadline, or your books are a mess, don't wait. The IRS is cracking down. Penalties add up fast, 5% per month, up to 25% just for not filing. But there's help. Tax Network USA can take the burden off your shoulders and stop the spiral before it gets worse. They've helped thousands of Americans, whether you're an employee, a small business owner, or haven't filed in years. Messy books? No problem. They've seen it all and know exactly how to clean it up. With direct access to powerful IRS programs and expert negotiators on your side, Tax Network USA knows how to win. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they may even be able to reduce or eliminate what you owe. More importantly, they'll help protect you from wage garnishments or bank levies. So don't wait for the next IRS letter. Call 800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAV to talk to a real expert at Tax Network USA. Take the pressure off. Let the Tax Network USA handle your tax issues. Coming up, the Sydney Sweeney Has Good Genes ad campaign caused a weird tantrum on the left, but it caused something else at the cash register. You know where I'm going with this. American Sunrise Early Edition. We'll be right back.
As I can have you here with me, I'd much rather be forever in blue jeans.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff and less flexible? Do you have trouble sleeping? Are you less active than you once were? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System that combines the incredible effects of vibrational therapy, targeted deep tissue shiatsu massage, plus soothing infrared heat. A triple fusion of therapeutic experiences delivering health-boosting treatments to your body. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation, bringing relief to joints and muscles and reducing inflammation while supporting your overall mobility. Look at these beads moving from the powerful vibrational motors.
It's amazing. It's like 1,000 little fingers just vibrating my body from head to toe.
Infrared heat penetrates deep to relax and soothe your body, reducing joint pain and stiffness and increasing circulation.
Remedy gets in there and helps deal with the source of the pain, so you feel much better.
The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 infrared heated nodes is designed to mimic a professional massage specialist's hand kneading and working tight muscles in just the right way to bring maximum relief and pleasure. It is even detachable, allowing you to get a deep tissue relief in your upper and lower back, neck and shoulders, feet, calves, or anywhere on your body.
I can't even describe to you the feeling. It's just something that you're gonna have to feel for yourself.
Call or go online now to receive the Remedy Massage System. Your system includes the Zero-G memory foam layer, the vibrational infrared and ultra shiatsu therapies, the removable shiatsu pillow, remote control, and a convenient carry bag free. Just one massage visit can cost almost $100, but you can own the Remedy Massage System and have as many therapeutic treatments as you want. The sooner you order, the sooner you can experience the true remedy for your pain, stiffness, and stress. Call now.
Live shot here from Rising Fawn, Georgia. This is a golf course. Beautiful shot in the morning there. Rising Fawn sounds like the name of like a Native American chief or something. I like that. Certainly a good. That's a morning name too. Rising Fawn, for the rising sun. We get some beautiful shots from the control room here. Thanks, guys. Welcome back to American Sunrise Early Edition. It's a No Tie Friday. Let's take a look at where the markets are going to open this morning. And I want everyone to, again, proceed with caution with the markets this morning because we have a jobs report coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. Usually the markets kind of level themselves out and wait for that number to come out, and then they get some conviction. Although, take a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's pretty strong for a jobs morning before the jobs report comes out. That's up almost more than 0.5%. And the S&P not exactly flat either. So I guess there's some investors who are willing to take some bets before this report comes out. Gold is up at that $3,600 per ounce level again. And crude oil down 63 even. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin, starting to move a little bit higher all of a sudden. Yeah, we're at the 112 mark. Again, pretty well off that 121, 125, 122 area that it was just a little while ago, but coming back and certainly getting some separation between itself and going below 110,000. So that's where we are on Bitcoin. Hey, American Eagle Outfitters. Now they're the company that was behind those Sydney Sweeney ads, the jeans ads. Sydney Sweeney has good genes, remember that? That got the left all crazy. I mean, they just went nuts about it. They called it Nazi propaganda. I mean, they really went nuts over this. Well, and by the way, it got people very excited about the brand. It certainly had the reverse effect because they just reported their earnings, American Eagle Outfitter, for the 3-month period between April and June, and they did really, really well. I mean, I'm saying really, really well. Remember, even President Trump talked about how good the ad was, and he supported it. Again, so much better than expected quarterly sales and profits. That's what they said. And yesterday, American Eagle shares closed 38% higher in just one day. And over the last 3 months, the shares are up 85%. Maybe we should get the liberals and the crazies online to complain about this show. Honestly, that is really a great sales boost. All right, it is truly a legal matter right now. Fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook is now reportedly the subject of a Justice Department criminal probe, a formal probe, with subpoenas issued and the whole 9 yards. Again, this is because of her multiple cases of alleged mortgage fraud, which is one thing for any public official, but a public official who deals with interest rates and things that affect mortgages, it's a bad look, let's be honest. All right, the big question, though, is while she fights this in court, her firing for President Trump, will she be able to participate in the big Fed meeting in the middle of this month? On September 17th, the Fed's going to get together and decide the fate of interest rates. Will she be allowed in the building? Will she be allowed to vote? Wait and see. All right, in the very, very few years since former New York Times editorial page editor Barry Weiss has left the New York Times, she has done a bunch of things. Now, remember, she left the Times over harassment, anti-Semitism. She's certainly no conservative, but she wasn't liberal enough for her co-workers at the New York Times who basically harassed her. She left. And she started something called the Free Press, which was a website that had different independent journalistic voices. Well, reports are now that Paramount is going to buy the Free Press for, get this, $200 million. And remember, Paramount owns CBS. They're going to give Barry Weiss, again reportedly, a senior management guiding leadership position at CBS News. Now, remember, I talked about CBS News the other day when they were caught deceptively editing the Kristi Noem interview, and I talked about how they're going to need to replace the executive producers on the lines, in the control rooms on these shows. So just getting Barry Weiss there in some office in the tower won't necessarily help. But what an interesting development this is going to be. And by the way, those people of the New York Times and the people who support them, who harassed her out of that job, are screaming bloody murder about this deal. It's called envy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. This is Moving America, sponsored by Artillery Tea Company. ArtilleryTeaCo.com. Use promo code PAYLOAD for 15% off your order. That's payload for pumpkin payload. It's September, it's pumpkin everything now. Artillery Tea is all natural, whole leaf. The tea bags are chemical free, and each tea bag can be used twice. Artillery Tea Company is family and veteran owned and operated, and a portion of your purchase goes to help veteran and first responder charities. ArtilleryTeaCo.com, promo code PAYLOAD for 15% off your order. Another day, another automaker announcement of cutting back in EV production. I can just mark my calendar with these things. It's GM again today, by the way, saying it will cut output at its Spring Hill, Tennessee plant beginning in December. Now, that is where they make the Cadillac Lyriq and the Vistic EV SUVs. GM is seeing falling demand for these vehicles. It has been seeing it well before the tax credit runs out at the end of this month. Remember, I've been letting everyone know, don't let the news media and the other liberals tell you that President Trump killed the EV industry. Demand for EVs was falling off a cliff well before he was even reelected back in November. Don't fall for it. Anyway, I feel bad for the workers at GM in Spring Hill, Tennessee, who were working on these kinds of cars instead of off-road cars or other things that people actually want to buy. But there you go. But at the same time, another car company is retiring two gas-powered favorites. That would be Porsche. It's not taking any more orders for the 718 Boxster or the 718 Boxster or the Cayman anymore. They are planning to move ahead with their idea of just making those two brands, very popular ones, electric versions, probably coming out by 2027 or so. For those who are still hoping to buy a brand new gas-powered Boxster or Cayman, the only option left will be to get, the unsold stock that might still be sitting at your dealer lot. So get on the phone, get on the internet if you want one of those before they go all electric. All right, I'm just asking an innocent question here, everybody. But why did getting back to GM, why did GM CEO Mary Barra just sell $26 million worth of her personal stock in the company? Now, this could be very innocuous. CEOs do this sometimes when they're about to make a big purchase. Maybe she's about to buy a large estate. Maybe she has a tax bill that she has to pay. By the way, that happens sometimes. It could be anything. But of course, it raises eyebrows when you're the CEO of a very public company, a very iconic company, and you dump a lot of the shares. Could be anything. And she isn't required to tell us her private reasons for this. But the markets are looking at this very, very closely. They may see this, some traders may see this as a sign that Bauer thinks that the company's going to have some tough times ahead, or at least the shares are going to on Wall Street. So I'll keep an eye on this for you, everyone. All right, here's a newsflash. Toyotas last a long time. Okay, you probably already knew that. But a new study by the folks at iSeeCars.com, I love that website, shows that the Toyota Tundra has the best chance of any vehicle in America to reach the 250,000-mile mark. Those chances are about 37% if you buy one today. That's to be exact. Now, of the top 10 vehicles in this longevity survey, in the study, Toyota had all of the top 5 and 6 total in the top 10. The top U.S. model, for those of you who just want to buy American, was the Chevy Suburban. It was at number 7. It has a 22% chance of hitting the $250,000 mark. Enjoy driving. All right, coming up, add West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito to the list of Republican incumbents who are facing real primary challenges in the 2026 midterms. I'll talk with her challenger when American Sunrise Early Edition comes right back.
When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers flexible and affordable plans for every home. Sign up today and get 50% off. Visit ahs.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this limited time offer.
How many times have you tried to clean a stubborn mess but end up with no success? What you need is the all-new waterproof Ruby Horsepower, the new cordless and rechargeable power scrubber that cleans faster and easier, guaranteed. Watch, baked on oven grease is no match. It blasts away dirt and grime in no time. The power comes from our rotating brushes, spinning at 350 RPM. The incredible torque fights calcium, mildew, mold, and more. Take it in the kitchen, where it busts through caked-on crud, or outside and tackle tough tasks with ease. Get your Ruby Horsepower with 4 additional attachments, all for just $39.99. Great news! They're in stock and ready to ship. Due to high demand, only 2 per order. Order now.
Call 1-800-944-4512. That's 1-800-944-4512, or visit horsepowerscrubber.com. So call 1-800-944-4512 now.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
It's Friday, September 5th. Here are this morning's top stories. Remember the economy? It feels like a long time since it was top of the news, but concerns about the job market are center stage today as we await the big August jobs report in just about an hour. I sure hope you weren't expecting any actual information to come out of that Senate hearing where they were just grilling Robert F. Kennedy Jr. yesterday. All it was a lot of grandstanding and a bunch of senators hoping to go viral on social media. I don't think it worked out. A new report says President Trump is giving Eric Adams and probably Curtis Sliwa until next week to decide to either take an offer from the White House and drop out of the mayor's race, or that offer will turn back into a pumpkin. And the little boy from Gaza named Amir, who was supposedly shot and killed by Israeli troops, is found alive and well. Oh, and by the way, his name isn't even Amir. When will the folks in the mainstream media, I'm looking at you, MSNBC, learn to check your so-called facts? American Sunrise Early Edition continues now. Welcome back to this No Tie Friday here on American Sunrise Early Edition. I'm Jake Novak. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for getting on some of these social media platforms where you can watch the show live, like Getter and Rumble and Substack and X, and commenting. And yes, I can take the criticism. It's fine. It's how we get better. Joining us right now is West Virginia Republican State Senator Tom Willis. He is challenging the incumbent Republican U.S. Senator from West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito, in the GOP primary. Hey, Tom, Senator Willis, thank you so much for joining us. We know Capito has an incumbency advantage and a big money advantage, as they're reporting here. You're taking her on, though, and tell me why you've decided to do that and how the campaign's been going so far.
Yeah, good morning, Jake. Thanks so much for having me on to be with you. That's right. I'm taking on Shelley Moore because she's been in Washington for too long. She's a rhino, has one of the most liberal voting records in the Senate, rated as one of the number 1, 2, or 3 most liberal Republicans in the Senate, not in the Senate for Republicans. I mean, one of the most liberal voting records. Freedom Works, CPAC, Heritage Action, all give her an F for conservative voting. And that's the same score that Nancy Pelosi has, by the way. And she skipped the vote to keep boys out of girls' sports. She voted for unconstitutional red flag gun confiscation. And she's been pro-choice most of her political career. All of these are no-goes in West Virginia. She's never really had a serious political opponent because she comes from a family oligarchy. Her dad was governor. And so I'm the first real political competition she's had. And I'm offering West Virginia a true conservative choice that's a Christian family man. Like you said, I'm a current state senator. I'm a Green Beret veteran, and I own a multi-state law firm here in West Virginia that operates in West Virginia and Virginia.
Senator Willis, it's interesting that they're trying to discourage people from running against her because of that big money advantage. But, we know that West Virginia citizens and voters are very conservative, and yet they've had representation from both parties over the years that's been much more liberal than the average voter now. Now, is this just because of, for example, Capito's predecessor in that slot in the Senate, Jay Rockefeller, and the Rockefeller money? I mean, they're trying to use money as some kind of as a way to dissuade you, but it's exactly money that needs to be pushed back against here and going to the grassroots. It's outside money or money from a small number of individuals who have basically gotten some of these people in office who don't jive with the rest of the voters in West Virginia.
Yeah, that financial report came. We had just barely started the campaign, and I put some seed money in to get us started. And so I don't pay any attention to that report at all. Of course, as an anti-establishment candidate, the expectation is that I'll raise less. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, we just got started a couple of weeks ago. We're building momentum fast, and folks are flocking to the campaign from across the state and frankly from across the country as well. So we're excited where we are, and we remain confident. When I travel the state, shake hands, people are just fed up with her. They feel like she's been a go along to get along type person. She hasn't led, she hasn't done anything. And she's, except for enrich herself and her family. And so West Virginians are looking for a true conservative alternative, and that's what I'm presenting them with, someone that's going to fight for West Virginians, fight for better jobs, fight to make sure the border stays closed and we don't have unchecked immigration, and just that we pass the torch of liberty to our kids. So we fight against this constant pressure from socialism and from the left, and we need folks that first understand the truth, that have the wisdom to understand the difference between good and evil, and then have the courage to stand and fight for it.
Let's talk about good and evil on the streets, Senator Willis, because they tell me that crime is one of your key issues, and it certainly seems to have caught the nation's attention again. The Trump crime crackdown, I think, is the reason, for example, why we're starting to see some interesting polls showing President Trump's popularity really surging. Even some of the polls that I don't think have measured his popularity fairly or accurately, even they have started to come around. And there's even a top Democrat strategist who seems to get this. I want you to listen to David Axelrod. He was Barack Obama's guru. Here's what he has to say about the Democrat pushback on the Trump crime crackdown. Check it out.
I would be careful about playing 28 politics on this issue, because the right answer is we'll take all the help we can get, as long as it's appropriate help, as long as it's stuff that will really help. I mean, these National Guardsmen aren't even trained to do that work. They're not authorized to do that work. So, send us the resources that we need. We want to work with you. If there are people doing violent crimes here who are illegal immigrants, we want them out of our city. We'll work with you on that. I think that's the appropriate position to take.
Fair enough.
Tom, we know so many Democrats aren't taking Axelrod's advice, although I think he's still a little bit off. The National Guard doesn't need to be NYPD detectives. They just need to patrol the streets, and magically things get better. But do you think, Senator Willis, that enough Republicans are getting it? I'm not so sure that there's even enough Republicans who understand the severity of this.
Yeah, so Axelrod is wrong on 2 points. I mean, his general point is well taken, but in fact, I'm still a member of the West Virginia National Guard. I can tell you that some units in the West Virginia National Guard are trained. We've got military police, for instance. We do train on things like crowd control and disaster response and management of civilian populations. And under some circumstances, depending on whether you're on state active duty orders or Title 32 orders or Title 10 orders, the legal minutia is complex. But there is a legal way that you can have National Guard assisting law enforcement, and that's what the Trump administration is trying. But the interesting thing to me here, Jake, is it's fascinating to watch how Trump is just such a master at keeping the Democrats on the defensive. And here's a situation where, going back to what I was saying earlier, you want wise people in political positions that understand the difference between good and evil. And Democrats are constantly on the side of lawlessness, right? And Republicans are on the side of law and order. Now, what Trump is doing here is calling their bluff, right? And he's saying, if you want to be on the side of lawlessness, we're gonna create an executive order that's going to draw attention to this, and it's a political winner for the president and for Republicans in general.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know how much of a World War II historian or history buff you are, but the National Guard isn't trained for this line. Sounds a lot like Tokyo Rose. I saw something in the Washington Post yesterday, an article about how the National Guard troops are their morale is lowering, is decreasing. I mean, this sounds like Tokyo Rose. I mean, it's just incredible. They're going to say that the National Guard troops shouldn't be doing what they're doing, and they're going to say that publicly. I mean, this is the kind of things that our enemies say. It's just amazing to me that they're going that route. Again, you're right. It seems like President Trump is making them say these kinds of things because they don't know how to oppose any other way. I know another issue on crime that's important to you is this whole cashless bail thing. This has been a major issue for me as well since 8-9 years now. This repeal of cashless bail, which basically puts some of the most violent criminals on the streets. And of course, the argument for it is like, well, cash bail is discriminatory. It's racist. And of course, Senator Willis, I think you'll agree with this. Folks, who do you think that these people who are out on cashless bail are victimizing? You think they're going after rich white people? It's other minorities who are 12 times more likely to be their victims. Is there a way to get that message out to a larger audience, sir?
Yeah, again, it goes back to understanding the difference between wisdom and foolishness. And here, the Democrats are constantly trying to portray the criminal or the accused as the victim, as opposed to the real victim of the crime, or more in general, society at large. And so they're shifting the burden onto the victims of crimes, or they're shifting the burden onto society at large, and they're taking the burden off of the person that actually committed the wrong. I get the arguments that they're making. You shouldn't be penalized because you happen to be poor, and they'll claim that it affects minorities. I would say, well, minorities in general probably are committing a higher percentage of the crimes. Statistically, that proves out. But this is demoralizing our police. It's putting a strain on society at large. You may save a little bit of money by not having to put people in jail, but you still have to spend that same amount of money to supervise them, to monitor them. So you're just shifting the budget. You're not really saving money, but it's demoralizing the police force, and that's a big issue for me. I think we've got to support the blue. We've got to support law and order. And could you imagine, arresting someone? Going down to the courthouse to book them, going through that whole process, and then 24, 48 hours having to do the same thing over again. I've served pro bono on some criminal cases down at the courthouse, and I can tell you, our police officers work very hard to try to keep our streets safe. And we need to do everything we can as a society and as a justice system that shows that we've got their back, that we support them, that we trust them to do a good job to keep us safe, and set the system up so that they don't have to spend their time rearresting the same persons, but they can keep our streets safe by arresting one person, have that person taken care of in the system, and then focus on the next criminal action. And that way we have a better, safer society, less burden on our police, higher morale, better recruiting, and a better result overall.
Yeah, Senator, I only have like 20 seconds left, but I want to show you this video that surfaced earlier this week of that Venezuelan drug boat that was blown out of the water, presumably by the United States Navy. And speaking of crime and things like that, we know that in West Virginia, these kinds of drugs that probably on that boat, fentanyl, other things like that, are a major issue. They're a major issue everywhere. It's not this stereotype that it only happens in Appalachia. It's just not true. It's happening everywhere. But still, it must have been gratifying for you to see that explosion and realize that maybe something that will help the people of West Virginia just happened in that video.
Well, I did a tour at U.S. Southern Command, which has area responsibility for South America and Venezuela, and so I'm very familiar with the drug flow from the south up to the north. I like to see us go back to the Monroe Doctrine and have a little bit more forceful U.S. foreign policy in the South. It's nice to see President Trump take the gloves off and let drug dealers in Maduro and Venezuela know that we're not going to put up with that nonsense anymore.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. All right, State Senator Tom Willis, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to check in with you as your campaign moves along, a long way to 2026, but I know you got to get working now. So thank you for joining me. Have a great weekend. I know you'll be campaigning.
Thanks, Jake. Have a great one. Bye-bye now.
Okay, coming up, of all the phony stories put out there over the past year to try to smear Israel, this may have been the worst. Not only is this boy who was supposedly shot dead by the IDF still alive and well, the big-time news outlets that blindly reported the accusation didn't even get his name right. David Brody and I will discuss when American Sunrise Early Edition comes right back.
People are being given 20 days to move their savings out of bank accounts just because of their political views. In fact, a conservative billionaire in Washington, who you know very well, was forced to transfer hundreds of millions of dollars. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul. If they can debank billionaires for their politics, what's stopping them from doing the same to you? This is why I've always advocated for the one asset that can't be debanked: gold. Click below for a free info kit on gold IRAs from my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, while paper currencies and banking systems failed, gold has preserved wealth. Even billionaires are learning this lesson the hard way. Don't wait for your own 20-day notice. Click below for your free info kit on gold IRAs.
Who wants to drag out a bulky vacuum? Introducing Horsepower Duck, a super compact vac with ultra-powerful suction. Clean up that mess in the kitchen, the spill on the sofa, even sawdust in the workshop. Just duck it up. The compact design can reach the tightest places, so store it in any drawer where it's always at your fingertips. You can even store it in your glove box for the ultimate car vac. The HEPA filter helps remove dust and allergens. Plus, it dumps out with ease, so it's ready to clean again. Get the Horsepower Duck hand vac for just $39.99. Order right now and we'll upgrade you to the Duck Pro package, a $30 value, yours free. You get the bendable tube, the crevice nozzle, and the soft brush nozzle, but supplies are limited, so there's a strict limit of 3 ducks per order. This may be your last chance to get yours at this low price, so don't delay. Duck it up today.
Call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckback.com. So call 1-800-693-3440 or visit duckback.com now.
Live shot of the Capitol Dome there in Washington, D.C. Welcome back to American Sunrise Early Edition. It's a No-Tie Friday. The online slander machine against Israel is pretty massive. It's funded by Qatar, even China now. We found out China's behind it as well. And it's enabled by a pathetic mainstream news media that simply parrots every accusation without even any fact-checking or even skepticism. But hey, guys, if you're going to lie about the Israelis gunning down a boy in Gaza, at least get his name right. The, quote, reports all said that this boy's name was Amir and that he was either deliberately or carelessly shot by the IDF and killed. The story didn't seem right to the folks at the U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, so they set out to find the truth, and sure enough, they found the boy. He's alive as well, and by the way, his real name is Abdul, and he's alive and well. David Brody joins us now. David, this is really it's just ridiculous. Every day this happens. We hear a tremendously scary and sad accusation, and then it turns out none of it is true. But I just checked. MSNBC still has that story as a headline. Boy gunned down. A bunch of other sites as well. And, of course, non-news sites all over the internet still saying this is true. It's just amazing to me. They figured it out. No one's ever going to call them on it. I mean, we'll call them on it. But their own people are not going to call them on it. And this is just going to keep going.
And they know it. And so, but wait a minute. Hold on. There's a big headline here about a retraction. I'm sorry. No, there's not. My bad. No, it's not there. You know, the retraction is always far too late and far too small in terms of the font and the placement as well. It's never at the top, right? It's always at the bottom, like literally in 6-point font. I think they got that type of font going for them. This is standard fare. I think one of the interesting aspects to this, you mentioned how the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, is U.S. backed. Yes, U.S. and, as you know, Jake, Israeli backed as well. I mean, that's little and big Satan combined, and that is going to drive Al Jazeera and MSNBC and everybody else nutso, because the GHF, and let me be clear, full disclaimer, I know Johnny Moore. He runs GHF. He's a good friend, great guy, and doing wonderful work there. They've delivered 70 million meals to Gazans over there. They're doing a tremendous work, and that's what they don't like. I say they. Who are we talking about? Well, the media, exactly who we're defining here. And why? Because they're controlled by Hamas and all of this type of, not just Al Jazeera, we know they're controlled by Hamas, but I'm talking about from a narrative and ideological standpoint, the others are controlled by Hamas, and the GHF is coming against that. They're doing exactly what they should be doing, and anything that's tied to the GHF, they're not going to like as well. So there's that layer as well. It's multiple layers here, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking with the GHF had a real sense of urgency on this, because they knew that if the boy was still alive, his life was in danger, that Hamas might kill him to make him dead, so that the stories would be true. So they knew that they weren't just trying to clear up the record. They were trying to save his life, and it looks like they did. So good on that. And listen, I'm glad you have that personal relationship with the head of that organization. All right, American Sunrise, the big show's coming up between 8 to 10. Yeah, go Jets. I don't know. I'll take what I can get. Just no one die at the game. How about that?
We'll take a tie.
Anyway, we'll take a tie. I don't know. All right, I'll be back with you on the 9 a.m. hour. See you then.
American Sunrise is a great way to start your morning. Join us Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the news of the day and some compelling interviews that you don't want to miss. Here's what you missed from yesterday.
Good morning, you guys. You know, I was reading some of those headlines before the show here, and I have to ask, are either of you Coldplay fans? After all of the controversy with them, I don't think anyone should go to Coldplay concerts. David, we'll start with you.
Oh, wow. Well, they're good. They're good. I mean, I'm not going to be at a Coldplay concert. I'd probably be at something from the 1970s. Yeah, no, they're good. Now after this, yeah, womp womp. Not happening. T-Bates. No, thank you.
I prefer cold cuts.
Done.
I prefer cold cuts to cold play. I'll just leave it there. I think that gives you your answer. No.
President Trump is now saying he could send National Guard troops to New Orleans to clean up crime ahead of places like Chicago. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining American Sunrise this morning. Would you like to see the National Guard in Chicago?
We would love to see the National Guard there. J.B. Pritzker is a failed governor. He sides with thugs, gangbangers, and illegals. And Chicago is a wonderful city with so much potential, but they have led the country in murders for 13 consecutive years. The murder rate in Chicago is 3 times the murder rate of Los Angeles, 5 times the murder rate of New York City, and 15 times the murder rate of the capital of India. Is that crazy or what? And J.B. Pritzker a year ago was all about having the National Guard come in to protect his buddies at the DNC. So he should swallow his pride and call President Trump.
What's going on in blue states like Maine, where you're from? I mean, is help there needed as well?
I personally think it is. And to be honest, we're in a position right now where governors can take a lesson, I think, from Donald Trump. What has he done? Using Title 10, he has made D.C. safer. And frankly, every single governor has the right under Title 32 to mobilize the National Guard in support of law enforcement. And I spent years working behind the scenes with the National Guard. Bottom line is they are well positioned to stabilize things.
We keep hearing about protecting victims. And of course, everybody wants to protect the victims. But let's be honest, we also hear about client lists and we hear about files. But can we just cut to the chase? What people want are names. That's what it is. It's not about files or lists. They want names.
Involved?
Can I just say, as you look in the chat, it's amazing. The chat is it's just a phenomenal place. They're talking about Epstein, talking about news of the day, and then it always transitions into pizza. You know, who's the best pizza? Emily, where are you on this? Are you Chicago as well?
I'm going to have to go with Chicago.
Emily,
yeah, that is the best. I lived there for a few years.
It's been a pleasure.
Can't get enough.
Yikes. A leaky refrigerator coil card.
Oh no.
But your future is bright with an American Home Shield warranty to protect your covered home systems. Don't worry, be warranty.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-596-8062 for a free consultation.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
You push it. You try to hold them shut, but your doors won't stay closed no matter what. Introducing Ruby Monkey Magnets. Ultra-thin magnetic plates that will keep your doors and drawers shut. Just peel to reveal the super strong adhesive. Place the monkey, then the magnet, and close. Installation is that simple, and now you have a door that will stay shut. The secret is the ultra-strong industrial magnet's powerful attraction that holds tight. Monkey magnets work on most surfaces and are perfect for cabinets, dresser drawers, sliding closet doors, and more. Even your outdoor problems are solved in an instant because they're corrosion and rust resistant. Call or go online now to get 8 sets of monkey magnets for only $9.99. Due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get monkey magnets at this low price. There is a strict limit of 1 house pack per order. Call now.
Call 1-800-519-4389. That's 1-800-519-4389. Call or visit monkeymagnets.com. So call 1-800-519-4389.
Ahead on American Sunrise, the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. is suing the Trump administration over the deployment of National Guard troops as part of the crime crackdown there. The big question this morning, what's his beef? We'll find out. Plus, House Speaker Mike Johnson predicts the discharge petition on the Epstein files will fail. Ahead, the mood inside the GOP conference, as all of this plays out. And there is reportedly some infighting among Republican lawmakers when it comes to how to avoid a government shutdown. Find out what proposals are on the table. Those stories and so much more right now on American Sunrise.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn, filling in today for Dr. Gina, live from West Palm Beach. Let's bring in David Brody in Washington, D.C., and Terrence Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, you guys. There were some fireworks in Washington, D.C. yesterday, David, at the RFK Jr. hearing. That got pretty heated.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, normally I go to get my popcorn at the movies, but I might as well have just gotten it right there watching on television. It was amazing stuff. T. Bates, I know we have some sound we want to play as well. Then we can get into it for sure.
Let's just get right to it. We can't talk about it enough. Ooh, got a fly in here. Let's get right to this sound, guys. Play it.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products for which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away.
So look, Emily and David, over the next couple of hours, we're going to be playing a number of excerpts from this hearing. It got fiery, it got contentious, it got petty. I think all of those are probably good adjectives, David.
Yeah, well, let me just say, sorry, Democrats, you lost me about you and being reputable on the science. Specifically, you lost me when you think there's 174 genders today and 184 genders the next day. So you lost me there. You lost me 25 years ago when Al Gore said that we have 10 years to save the planet. That was 25 years ago. You lost me when you want 13-year-olds mutilated with gender transition surgery. You lost me in COVID. Dare I go on, Emily? This is a 2-hour show, but we have 4 hours of examples, so I guess I'll stop right now.
We do have a lot of examples throughout the rest of the show. I just have to say that this is not the first time that RFK Jr. has been subjected to this kind of grilling at the Capitol, and he handles it really, really well every time. Stays very strong in his position and his research on things, and man, did it get heated. Make sure you guys are staying tuned because we do have a lot more to show you from that hearing. But first, let's check out today's Bible verse. It comes from John 15, verses 13 through 15, and reads, "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all things that I heard from my Father I have made known to you." A great way to go into the weekend. All right, our top headline today, the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. is suing the Trump administration over the deployment of the National Guard. The lawsuit claims President Trump has run roughshod over a fundamental tenet on American democracy, that the military should not be involved in domestic law enforcement. Trump has touted the deployment a success and has said he's considering doing it in other cities as well. For more, let's bring in Pastor and North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. Congressman, what do you make of all of this?
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. I just stand amazed when I continue to hear the Democrats on the other side try to just throw shade and bring criticism against the president for stepping up and bringing law and order to our nation's capital. In my mind, it has been a rousing success. I think in the mayor of Washington, D.C.'s mind, she's made it clear objectively just how much of a difference that it's made. Carjackings are down. They went the first 12 days without a murder. I mean, really, we're seeing things, 150 plus illegal guns seized. You would think this would be something that the Democrats would be jumping up and down celebrating. But instead, they're criticizing, they're attacking. I think so much of it is because it's President Trump. It's still part of that Donald J. Trump's, that Trump derangement syndrome, if you will, TDS. So I think that, again, we have an opportunity here to make a model out of Washington, D.C., and so far it's been very successful.
Congressman, you and your colleagues just returned to work in Washington this week. You've got a lot on your plate, specifically as it comes to those appropriation bills. There's this headline from The Hill, which reads, "Republicans are divided on a stopgap strategy to prevent a looming shutdown." Reportedly, some of you and some of your colleagues want a one-year CR. Some want a short-term CR. I personally just want you guys to go ahead and pass all the appropriation bills. Where do you stand on this? What would you like to see happen? What do you think is going to happen? And how do we ultimately get to a point where these appropriations bills are passed, all 12 of them, as is the constitutional duty of Congress?
Well, that's a great question, Terrence, and you framed it quite well. As a constitutionalist and an idealist, I would love to see us follow regular order and get all 12 appropriation bills passed. That's what needs to happen. I'm also a realist, and I realize that we're coming up on September 30th, and we've got to make some decisions. And quite frankly, if we find ourselves dealing with a CR, I'm more in favor of a long-term CR simply because it holds spending level. You're not going to see these automatic increases that oftentimes come when we start passing many of these appropriation bills. That is one way to control spending. When you start getting into those short-term CRs, I know the mindset behind it, or the sell for it, is to try to say, well, if we extend it, then it gives us more time to pass a few more appropriation bills. But the reality is, right now, I think we're looking at, we just passed one yesterday, and I think that was the third of the 12. So much of the first 6 months of this Congress was spent working on the working families tax cut, formerly known as the Big Beautiful Bill. And I think that a lot of things got accomplished with that. But I think that where we are now, we're looking at some kind of CR. And I personally feel like we need a clean CR. And I would support a year-long CR if it comes down to that.
Congressman, just a quick follow-up. There are many in our viewing audience who say shut the entire thing down, shut the government down until you pass all of the appropriation bills. I suspect you're not willing to do that, but would that not be a way to push some of your colleagues to get these appropriations bills passed just for political expediency alone?
Well, the only people that are really talking about a shutdown at this point are the Democrats, because they want to slow down. They want to create some kind of barrier to the successes that President Trump is having. This administration is moving an agenda forward. The America First agenda is real, and it is happening. And the things that we're needing to do, we don't need a government shutdown. We want to keep things going. And I agree with you. It's important. I want to see us move appropriation bills forward. But again, when you start getting into these negotiations, Democrats are wanting to do anything. I mean, that's what you're seeing even with these lawsuits that they're filing. If you can't stop President Trump at the ballot box, then you've got to try to do it in the courts. And that's what the Democrats have operated on for a long time. And they're still continuing to try to do that. So I think we've got to be wary of anything they're trying to do to stop the agenda of America First. And that's sort of where we are right now.
Congressman, I've got to get you on what happened with RFK Jr. yesterday in that Senate hearing. Curious to get your take on that. I mean, it makes me think of that line in A Few Good Men, with Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. And it also looked like RFK Jr. was like looking at them as like insects. He kind of was sitting back in his chair going flick, 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 flick. I'm curious to get your take.
He really was, David, and that's a great point that you make. I felt he handled himself quite well in that. I watched that circus that the Democrats created yesterday, and I thought, is it any wonder why anybody with ability and intellect and is willing to step in and serve this nation when they're put under that kind of grilling that he went through yesterday? But to his credit, he responded. Look, the reality is for them to try to say, and they're really all just upset with him for the changes that have come at the CDC. That's at the root of all of this, and they hate those. But for them to say that he's creating chaos in our healthcare after what the CDC and the science failed us so many times through COVID, I find that very rich. And the truth of the matter is I've got plenty of people in my district that are still dealing with the side effects of the vaccine. And the fact that he is making it available to people, but they're going to have a prescription. They're going to have an honest conversation with their doctor. Listen, I remember in my own situation where my doctor recommended when it first started, yes, you probably ought to get it. It's important. By the end of all of that, he had rethought that. The more the science came out, the more he was concerned about it. So listen, I think there needs to be honest conversation between patients and their physicians, not just throwing this vaccine out there for everybody just to run and get it. I appreciate the thoughtfulness that's going into this process right now.
Yeah, and honest conversations throughout the whole country. I mean, America's collective health has been declining for years, so it's great that RFK Jr. is looking at this in a different way. Congressman, I do want to get your reaction to this headline as well. We only have about 45 seconds left with you. This is from the New York Post. It says Nigel Farage warns that Americans could also face censorship and even arrest in the UK for social media posts after comedians bust. He says that he was at a House Judiciary Committee hearing and called the new laws awful and authoritarian. Definitely seems to be. What is your reaction to this, Congressman?
Listen, that was an impressive hearing that we were a part of the other day. I was honored to be there with it and on the Judiciary Committee. We've got a real situation that's developed in Europe. And if we don't step in now and protect Americans, we're going to find ourselves as the next casualty. There have been 12,183 arrests in 2023 in Great Britain, just using this act that they put in place that's going after people online, which is pure censorship. And I mean, people are being arrested if they posted something that somehow annoyed somebody or somehow brought anxiety to somebody. And it's just gotten out of hand. They're going after people for praying. They're going after people for posting Bible verses. Listen, Europe's got a situation on their hands, and we're trying to highlight it here in the United States so that we don't walk down the same path they've gone down. And I appreciated Nigel Farage and his honesty and truthfulness with all of us on the committee as he made this clear.
Certainly has gotten out of hand. Congressman Harris, thank you so much for joining American Sunrise. Really appreciate you waking up early with us, sir.
Honored to be with you as always. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
God bless you,
You
too.
too as well.
All right. Now, coming up, we check out the hottest headlines from the RAV newsroom with T. Bates. And later, Ukrainian President Zelensky met with European leaders on security guarantees. But how much was accomplished? We're going to take a look soon on American Sunrise. Stay with us.
Poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help Rush, a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
This news break is brought to you by AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens.
That's Atlanta. Colin, is that Atlanta? You said yes, right? Yeah. It is Atlanta. Colin confirmed. Colin, a man of many facts. There are no fake news coming from Colin, our esteemed director. Did I say esteemed? Okay, that may be fake news. Just kidding. You're the best. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. All right, coming up. Oh, so have you heard China has your information? There's this new report that basically China, unrestrained Chinese hackers, literally have the information unlike every American. Okay, maybe we should unpack that story, and we will in a moment. First, though, T. Bates standing by with the latest headlines from the Real America's Voice newsroom, sponsored by AMAC.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing a fiery and contentious hearing before the Senate Finance Committee. While answering tough questions from both Democrats and Republicans on that panel, many of the interactions devolved into combativeness between the secretary and the Democrat senators in particular.
Everybody is corrupt, but you.
Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm saying...
I don't think so.
RFK Jr. was specifically called to task over his moves to limit vaccine access and research. He was also criticized for the recent firing of the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Those are just some of the headlines coming out of there. We'll have much more video throughout the show. Over at the White House, though, President Trump set to sign another executive order today. The EO will reportedly be to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War. As such, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth would also be able to use the title Secretary of War in official correspondence and public communication. Changing the name of the government department is rare and generally would require congressional approval. By the way, the Department of Defense was named the War Department until 1949 when Congress consolidated the Army, Navy, and Air Force following World War II. The move comes as President Trump seeks to end several wars and conflicts across the globe. Following today's executive order signing, the Commander-in-Chief also has an announcement scheduled. We're working to find out what that announcement will entail. Happening today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott will sign several bills aimed at preventing tragedies similar to the deadly flooding that killed 27 campers and counselors at Camp Mystic there in Texas back in July. Some of the parents and family members of the girls who died will be on hand for the governor's signing today. In all, 136 people were killed in the flooding. The new measures will improve the safety of children's camps across the state by prohibiting cabins from being in dangerous parts of flood zones. Camp operators will also be required to develop emergency plans along with installing and maintaining emergency warning systems. One of the measures also sets aside $240 million from the state's rainy day fund for disaster relief, as well as funding for warning sirens and improved weather forecasting. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now, let's get a quick check of your forecast from our friends over at Weather Nation. Meteorologist Carissa Kloss joining us. So, Carissa, thank you very much for giving me an excuse not to go jogging today. You were saying some of the wildfires up in Canada are going to be affecting our weather here in Denver and even to the east, to the western part of the country?
Yes, everything's connected. We've got this front across the heart of the country, and the northerly winds on the backside of that ushering in more of that Canadian wildfire smoke, which so much of the West has become accustomed to this year and over the past couple of years. So we're going to see that out west. In the east, these fronts are going to give us a chance at showers and thunderstorms, one with some strong to severe that we're tracking over the next few days. Couple of showers and thunderstorms up and down the east coast, and Florida staying soggy with a stalled out front there. We want you to keep an eye today in the yellow. That's where a few of those thunderstorms could be on the strong to severe side. And then tomorrow, the East Coast getting that next round of storms with that next front that comes through. And in the West, we've got a lot of moisture on the tail end of that front from a tropical system in the Eastern Pacific. So showers and thunderstorms there. But these areas, Terrence, are the ones that we're expecting the worst air quality. Wyoming into the Denver metro area, the Northwest. It's that chemically wildfiery, smoky type feel in the air. My daughter has asthma. I know she's going to need that inhaler today for sure, Terrence.
No, all right, Carissa. Hopefully all goes well with that. And thanks again for the excuse not to go jogging. Instead, it'll be pizza for lunch. Thank you.
And you know what? I'll do the same.
Same. Okay, well, you know what? Pizza on me then, if you find me. Thanks so much, Carissa. We'll talk soon. Up next, claims that China may have stolen data from almost every American. So what can be done to prevent this? We'll assess. Right now, though, a quick look at this day in history. It was on this date in 1966 that comedian and actor Jerry Lewis hosted the first muscular dystrophy Labor Day telethon. The live 24-hour affair sometimes went even longer. Well, it was an event that featured some of the hottest acts and celebrities in the country who, of course, all came together to support research and services for people with muscular dystrophy. That first year, Jerry raised $1 million to support research and services for people with muscular dystrophy. He continued to host the telethon for 45 years until 2010. Over the years that Jerry hosted the telethon, it raised over $2.45 billion, all for muscular dystrophy and the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Though your dreams be tossed and blown.
When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers flexible and affordable plans for every home. Sign up today and get 50% off. Visit ahs.com or call 833-PLAN-AHS for this limited time offer.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Stay tuned to get a free automatic toilet bowl cleaner from Mermaid. Your sink stopper's broken, and fixing a drain is a pain. Introducing Mermaid Drain Magic, the instant solution to most broken drains. Just remove and replace. In seconds, you can fill and drain with a simple press of a button. Drain Magic makes replacing your old, broken, rusty, even missing sink stoppers fast and easy. Drain Magic's anti-clogging basket helps prevent clogs in your sink, catching hair, food, even jewelry. Made with brass and chrome and a silicone gasket, it creates a watertight seal. Order your Mermaid Drain Magic today for only $19.99 and get a Mermaid Toilet Bowl Cleaner absolutely free. Drop it in the tank for up to 3 months of cleaning. But wait, this could be your last chance to get Drain Magic at this low price with free toilet bowl cleaner. There's a strict limit of 3, so order now.
Call 1-800-519-4303 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. So call 1-800-519-4303 or visit GetDrainMagic.com. Order now.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now.
Call 800-714-8615.
The United States Capitol, freedom. That's all I have to say. Yeah, that was great analysis by me. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. By the way, thanks for joining us every day in the chat. I'm going to go there momentarily. Go to YouTube. Check us out there. Getter, Rumble. Am I missing some stuff? I think those are the main ones, but there's others. You can check us out on X, on all sorts of places. All right. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky met with European nations in Paris as part of the Coalition of the Willing summit. Zelensky said that a general framework for Ukrainian security guarantees has been agreed to. Of course, we don't really have many details on exactly what that's going to look like. President Trump reportedly called into the meeting and urged that Europe and the U.S. work together on sanctions against Russia. All right, for more, let's bring in retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and geopolitical strategist Darren Gobb. Darren, always good to see you on the show. So Putin says foreign troops that end up in Ukraine are going to be a target for Russian forces. So I guess so much for this ceasefire or end to the war. I mean, where is all of this heading exactly? Good morning to you.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to know that any of us can predict exactly where any of this is heading at this point. It seemed like the momentum we had after Alaska and the D.C. gathering is largely gone, but maybe there's more going on behind the scenes than we know. So I guess we'll wait and see if that meeting ever does happen between Putin and Zelensky. But either way, I expect both sides to continue to try to take advantage of any kind of opportunity that presents itself. And both sides are going to continue to posture as well to make sure that their message is heard. There's no surprise that Putin's going to argue that anybody who is in Ukraine, especially from NATO nations, is a target, because that's just how they operate. And even though Trump has said clearly the U.S. won't have boots on the ground, the European nations seem to be very content to stoke the fires of the war and aren't doing much themselves to actually end it. But it seems they're more productive at keeping it going.
I do want to switch gears to Iran here for a moment. The Associated Press had this headline: Iran increased stockpile of near weapons-grade uranium before Israeli attack, UN agency says. Uranium stockpile went up before Israel started Iran strikes in June. Do want to get your reaction to this as well and what this means.
Yeah, it's no surprise, of course. Iran has never really stopped advertising the fact that they want to be a nuclear power because they want to be the main power in the Middle East and, frankly, in some aspects of Central Asia. They increased their stockpiles enough to, give it a round number, create up to 10 nuclear weapons of not that high a yield necessarily, but high enough of a yield that is clearly a very existential threat to specifically to Israel, of course, but they wouldn't necessarily be the only target of Iran at this point either. So that's really what was most concerning. This is, of course, assuming those reports are accurate, but Iran is an unstable country, and for them to have these kinds of weapons was clearly something that, and remains something that should not happen.
Darren, excuse me, but I'm still caught on the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, particularly Vladimir Putin saying that if any foreign troops put boots on the ground there in Ukraine, that they would be targets. Obviously, that's tough talk, but if it were to happen and if any of those foreign troops were to be hurt in any specific way, it seems to me all gloves have to come off at that point in time. And so to be preemptive, someone needs to do something now because, and excuse the long question, but there's been a whole lot of talking and Vladimir Putin has at times said the right things, but when it came to action, he's done nothing.
Great point.
Yeah, he's basically doing what I would call the same kind of tactics and negotiation and everything else that the Soviet Union used to do during the Cold War. They would drag things out as long as they possibly could in order to gain any sort of advantage that time gives you. Because frankly, Russia's winning against Ukraine right now, which is something that was sort of expected. Now, granted, it's taken a lot longer than many of us who are involved in this would have thought. But yeah, to threaten beforehand that they'd be a target, but theoretically they're not even supposed to be there unless there was a peace deal on the table, and if there was peace between the two nations or at least a ceasefire that was going to last for a long time, why would they need to be there in the first place, and why would Putin need to be threatening them? This is tough talk from him. It's not unusual, but it's also not helpful.
Darren, before we let you go, let me show you this New York Times headline. This should be disconcerting to, let me think, everybody here in America. It says unrestrained Chinese cyber attackers may have stolen data from almost every American. This Salt Typhoon attack targeted more than 80 countries, apparently. It was a year-long coordinated assault on telecommunication companies. I don't even know really what to say at this point. Where does the United States begin to figure out how to deal with this? Because President Trump's always trying to kind of be tough with China, but at the same time compliment Xi at times. It's a tap dance here.
It is, and I think the key is being willing to advertise and recognize the fact that as far as China is concerned, they've been at war with us for some decades now. This is just one more indicator of that, because nothing like this happens without government sanction, that's to be sure. So I think the willingness to call them out and take a tougher stance against them, because as far as they're concerned, this is fifth generation type of warfare where everything's on the table, from electrical grids to cyber attacks to cultural attacks, infusing our universities, you name it. It's all there. It's all led by China. And we just have to call it out for what it is and not step back from that fact and be really harsh towards them because of it. It doesn't seem like there's much interest in doing that, though. I would say Trump is probably the most interested of any president I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, you mentioned the universities, those Confucius Institutes at universities. They're trying to get that next generation. Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gallup, thanks for being here. And as we send you off into Skype land, but I'm sure we'll see you again sometime soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks
so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Are we really sending them off into Skype land? We're not technically doing that. Well, I guess when we hit the disconnect button. All right, coming up, we have all had that upset stomach. So what are some foods we can eat to help improve gut health? You had me at gut health. We have the answers next on American Sunrise.
guys, if you plan to retire in the next 20 years, or if you've already retired, I have a message for you that you need to hear. Central banks, BRIC nations, and our allies are pumping trillions of dollars back into America, but every dollar they send could make your savings worth less. Hi, I'm Donald Trump Jr., and I just want you to be prepared for the future. So protect your hard-earned savings with gold. A gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group offers you the safety net of gold with the tax advantage status of a retirement account. To see how it's done, click the link below to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. This kit reveals why gold IRAs are exploding in popularity, so do it now. What do you have to lose? It's free and there's no obligation. Click the link below to get your free info kit from the Birch Gold Group.
Your wallet is always in danger. Criminals can hack your information without you even knowing. Introducing Slim Mint, an ultra-thin RFID blocking wallet that keeps your cards and cash protected. Slim Mint uses the latest RFID blocking technology to prevent thieves from stealing your info. It's ergonomically designed to optimize space and keep your belongings organized. With the auto-locking Slim Mint, your cards and money stay securely in place. It has a built-in cash clip and a flexible outer band to fit your additional cards and cash. Call or click now and get Slim Mint for just $29.99. Order in the next 5 minutes and you'll get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs, this may be your last chance to get Slim Mint at this low price. There's a strict limit of 3 Slim Mint wallets while supplies last. Don't wait, order now.
Call 1-800-608-4172. Call or visit slimmintwallet.com. So call 1-800-608-4172 now.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn, filling in today for Dr. Gina. Thank you so much for joining us. Time now for today's health news, sponsored by The Wellness Company. Under the microscope today, the best probiotic foods to improve your gut health. The gut microbiome is essential for breaking down food, and one very good thing is Greek yogurt. This brings in various healthy bacteria to help aid digestion. Other good options are kimchi and sauerkraut. These foods contain lactic acid bacteria, and they can help reduce inflammation. And finally, some cheeses can also help aid digestion. Unheated cheeses like provolone and cheddar can contain probiotics. So I hope you guys were making a list for your groceries this week. All right, a new administration in Washington, D.C. has brought a lot of positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The reality is, however, that there is only so much the government can do. And if we really want to make America healthy again, that starts at home with each and every one of us. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from TWC doctors all the time on this network. And you know that their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make sure that you're prepared for whatever happens with their series of prescription medical kits. These kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of the medications. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more that can help you stay healthy and live a longer and more satisfying life. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Make sure to go to www.twc.health/RAV today and order. Again, that's twc.health/RAV and use the promo code RAV to save 10% off your order. Now let's send it over to David Brody.
All right, and Emily, by the way, you said cheeses help gut health. When you said cheeses, and by the way, you pronounced it perfectly, I heard Cheez-Its for some reason. And and then I was like, oh, Cheez-Its improve gut health? Okay, well then I'm on the right track.
You got some cravings there, David. I think I know what you're going to be snacking on going into this weekend.
That is correct. All right, turning our attention now to Tennessee, where a special election is set for retired Congressman Mark Green. He left in July. The primary for both Republicans and Democrats set for October 7th, and the general election is going to take place December 2nd. Now, one of the Republican candidates, Trace Whittem, is running on the Republican side and has this message for voters. Take a look.
Hey, y'all, I'm standing outside the U.S. Capitol where, too many people have forgotten that this building is supposed to work for you. That's because we've forgotten what this says. Thanks to the 917 Society for passing out, especially to our students, and reminding us that government doesn't grant freedoms. This does. Let's lead America with Tennessee values, and let's get back to the Constitution.
And the man himself, Trace Whittem, joins us now here on American Sunrise. Trace, thanks for being here. I see Nashville behind you. You know, our rights are indeed in the U.S. Constitution. Of course, our nation was founded on the main pillar that our rights don't come from government, but from God himself. So you've talked about Bibles being put back in schools. Tell us more about the faith component to all of this, because let's be honest, without God in our society, we're doomed.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on here. Look, you know, we're out here talking about mental health. We're looking at schools that have become war zones. You know, kids that are going to what they call counselors, who are counseling them on their gender. If you're a boy, possibly you're a little girl. If you're a girl, possibly you're a little boy. The sports thing. Look, folks, we need a real moral compass in this country. And look, I'm very proud to partner with President Trump in passing out the God Bless the USA Bible. It does have the 4 founding documents of this country, and it's the Word of God. And it's certainly my moral compass. And I know we can't legislate morality, but we can make it available for our students in classrooms for them to discover the truth, because that's what's gonna grow America, and that's what's gonna bring us back to our foundation.
Well, Trace, impressive, by the way, with the answer, and also impressive that you have props in the shot. So kudos to you. I don't think you earn any extra points in terms of, anything we're going to send you, maybe a button at some point, but that was good stuff. Hey, one issue that you've highlighted in the race, back to schools, is that school safety. You've said that you would partner with the NRA for the School Shield program. Take a look at this.
Another tragedy. Another community shattered. And once again, politicians hold press conferences, but take no action. I'm sick of it. Our children deserve better. That's why I'm launching the Community Shield Initiative. As your congressman, I will partner directly with the NRA School Shield program. They already have experts. They already have the training. They already have the grants to help schools prepare and protect. So why aren't we using them? It's time to stop ignoring real solutions. With the NRA's help, we will harden our schools, train our staff, and then make sure this evil never finds a soft target again.
Yeah, I'm assuming you agree with that guy. Tell us more about the School Shield program, Trace.
You know, first off, it's really been a privilege. I've got to go to several different school districts. I talked to folks in Metro. I've talked to folks out in the county. And look, some of these schools that are in our rural counties, they actually don't have the grant money. They don't have the tools, the technology. They haven't had anybody come in and look at their schools. And it's not because they don't want that. That's exactly what they want. It's because there is an old saying in government that sometimes there's more good ideas than there is money. And, you know, so I commend the NRA for using their dollars to help our schools and help protect our kids. It's not about the arms. It's literally about getting together a plan and making sure these schools are equipped with what they need to keep your kids and grandkids safe. It's that simple.
Yeah. By the way, as we wrap up here, the race itself, it's a crowded field. How do you break through? What's the latest? Give us some tips. Not, I say tips. Tell us what your strategy is to win.
Look, I'm going right to the people. The people in this district are pretty upset. Mark Green quit on us. And, this is not my first time running for office. I did run against our U.S. Senator last summer on the same message, repealing the federal income tax. I talked a little bit about the 17th Amendment, but the people here in Tennessee are ready for real leadership of the next generation, someone who's not going to stay in Congress forever. I am a term limits pledge. We got to have real solutions in Congress, and it starts with people that are willing to talk about the tough issues and also take the plunge when it says it's time to go. So my message is, look, I won't quit on you. I've had 11 years of experience working behind state appropriators in the Tennessee Senate, looking at Tennessee values according to our state budget. So I've talked to the Tennesseans. I've looked at our Tennessee checkbook, and I'm ready to go to Washington to talk about their budget, which is not balanced, and show them the Tennessee values that raised me here in the state legislature.
Very nice. And you can join straight shooters like Tim Burchett, who's a good friend of this show as well. We really appreciate your time, and good luck in the race, Trace. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. God bless America.
All right. Got to get that God Bless America in at the end. We like that. All right. Coming up, a Louisiana congressman admits New Orleans has a crime problem. But what is he more concerned with? We have Congressman Cleo Fields' comments next on American Sunrise.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Thinking about Medicare? Think AMAC. Medicare can be complicated, but AMAC makes it simple. Our licensed agents provide free, unbiased guidance to help you find the plan that best suits your needs. But that's not all AMAC has to offer. AMAC is America's leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization, guided by the principles of faith, family, and freedom. So when it comes to Medicare and so much more, think AMAC.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-596-8062 for a free consultation.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast and so convenient. It's like the power of an air compressor in the palm of your hand. Look, you can inflate all 4 tires on a single charge. It has a built-in smart pressure digital sensor that gauges and automatically stops when the set tire pressure is reached. Easily inflate pool toys, exercise balls, and more. Call or go online now and get the complete Bullseye Pro inflation system for the factory direct price of just $79.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free, and we'll give you a 50% discount on a second one. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-976-9718. That's 1-800-976-9718, or go to getbullseyepro.com.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. You're already drinking coffee, but is it really doing anything for your body other than giving you a quick caffeine spike? Well, Rejuvenate coffee is different. It's clean coffee infused with CAAKG, a powerful compound studied for its ability to support longevity, cellular energy, and metabolism at the deepest level. That means sharper mornings, no crash, better focus, and long-term benefits that your body will thank you for. I drink it because I care about my health, my energy, and how I show up for my family, for my work, and for the life that I want to build. So if you're going to drink coffee anyway, make it one that actually works as hard as you do. Head to 1775coffee.com/Rav and try Rejuvenate coffee today. Don't just wake up, rejuvenate. All right, now that we are caffeinated, it is time to stay awake, not woke. And today we are discussing Democratic Louisiana Congressman Cleo Fields. Fields does admit that New Orleans has a crime problem, but added that he is more concerned about the sanctuary city status of the Big Easy. Take a watch.
New Orleans has a crime problem. Every city probably in this country has a crime problem, but you don't solve crime problems by sending in the National Guards. That's why we passed a law, I think in 1870 something, to do just the opposite. You don't use our military to fight crime. You use police officers.
So what is the solution then, as you say?
Well, we can start by not cutting $811 million from crime prevention programs, $3.7 million cut from the state of Louisiana. We can start there. If the president was really serious about solving crime, he would not cut prevention programs like the one that he cut a few days ago.
What about ending the sanctuary city status of New Orleans?
Well, I mean, I think I'm more concerned about the due process that immigrants are receiving, not only in New Orleans, but all across the country. We shouldn't have law enforcement agencies walking around in the middle of the night with masks on, stopping people, arresting them, and not giving them due process of law.
These comments come after President Trump said this week they are considering sending National Guard troops to New Orleans as part of the crime crackdown. For more, let's bring in Terrence and David. Terrence, what say you about all of this? I mean, he's admitting that there is a crime problem, but doesn't want the federal government to get involved. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, but even bigger than that is, I think the priority is giving illegal immigrants due process. No, the priority is getting crime under control in New Orleans, getting crime under control for the people who voted for you. That's the priority. And while he may have a point that cutting in funding doesn't help, I think you negate that point by saying, I want to focus on due process for people who are in this country illegally. No, get the money so that you can get more police officers onto the streets of New Orleans to help patrol it and to help to get the crime under control. That way, President Trump wouldn't have to even consider putting military or National Guardsmen on the street to help beef up the law enforcement face there on the ground in New Orleans, David. I think that's the point.
Yeah, and Emily, you said what you're hearing is that you think he doesn't want national help. No, he wants national help. He just doesn't want the help that Trump is offering regarding the National Guard. He wants money. Right. They all want money, and they want it for, and here come the air quotes, crime prevention programs. Well, what in the world does that mean exactly? Maybe we should unpack that in a segment next week. Actually, it's a pretty good idea, I think. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, a lot of this stuff is money that just goes and does absolutely nothing. And clearly the results have not been good. So they want help, but they want money. That's what they want. And by the way, this idea that he said that crime, if you're going to solve crime, you don't send in the National Guard. Paging Muriel Bowser, paging D.C., what do they think about that? I think the answer is, Cleo Fields, you're wrong on that. And if pictures were in a dictionary and I looked up Cleo Fields, I would see something along the lines of tone deaf, like a picture of someone being tone deaf, because that is straight up tone deaf. If you're caring more about illegal immigrants in a sanctuary city than crime in your own city, that's a problem.
Absolutely.
Now, I do think, guys, context is important. I believe that President Trump chose New Orleans as an example because, number one, there's a Republican governor there that he conceivably could work with in order to authorize the National Guard troops. So now he doesn't set himself up for a legal battle because he goes ahead against the wishes of the governor and puts in the National Guard. He would have a governor who would call and invite the National Guard, so that makes it easier in that respect. Secondly, New Orleans is a city that's got a massive visitor base every year and a massive tourism base. So it's a great way to give back to the New Orleans economy as well as the economy of Louisiana, and it makes it more attractive because the city appears to be safer. And thirdly, it would then again be another example of how effective having National Guard troops on the streets of major crime-ridden cities is. I think those are three key things that we have to keep in perspective.
Absolutely. I think if you ask his constituents, they would want him to be more focused on crime than protecting illegal immigrants. I think that was a great discussion, you guys. All right, coming up on American Sunrise in our Moments of Faith, we're tackling one of the most pressing issues of our time, the image of God. The details are ahead as American Sunrise continues.
Poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears
Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
God bless the USA.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. All right, time now for our moment of faith. It's brought to us by Lee Greenwood and the God Bless the USA Bible. In focus today, we're tackling one of the most pressing issues of our time, the image of God and transhumanism. Hello, Elon Musk. Scientists and technologists are saying we can redesign humanity, merge with machines, or even engineer a new species. Sounds futuristic, right? But really, it's the oldest lie in the book. The same temptation that goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. All right, joining us now with biblical insight is one of our favorite guests. That would be Jim Moseley. He's the author of The Duke of D.C. He's also the author of the appropriately titled Discovering Jesus' Disciples. And he's also the author of a new book with our own Dr. G called The Days of Creation by Heart, Teaching Children How God Made the World. All that said, we simply like to refer to him around here as, let's say it together, everybody, the Bible history guy. And why am I talking in a creepy voice? Hi, Jim Moseley. All right, what do you got for us? I can't wait to hear. Good morning.
Well, yeah, the lie goes back in Eden. The serpent whispered to Eve, if you eat this fruit, you'll become like God. And what's the irony? She was already made in the image of God. She didn't need an upgrade. She just needed trust. That lie has been going on throughout history. At Babel, humanity said, let us build a tower to the heavens. Satan declared, I will ascend. I will be like the Most High. In the ancient world, only kings or idols were thought to represent gods. Pharaohs, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, all these guys wanted to be God. But only one God ever wanted to be man, Jesus Christ. He condescended to become human so he could communicate to us in a way we can understand, give us the full message, the way of salvation. Genesis says God created man in his own image. Male and female, he created them. Every single person is stamped with that divine seal. And what is this image? It's not that God has a body like ours. We reflect God's character, reason, creativity, morality. We represent him as stewards over his creation. Psalm 8 says, you have made him, referring to the Messiah as a man, a little lower than the angels and crowned him with glory and honor. That's royal language. Every human being is a royal brother or sister of Jesus, the image of God. The idea that created beings can become the creator, it's not only philosophically absurd, it's existentially dangerous. When societies forgot the divine light that humans reflect, horrors followed: genocide, racism, tyranny. If you erase God, you erase humanity. But if you honor God, you uplift humanity. When societies remember this truth, they advance in dignity, justice, mercy, hospitals, schools, the abolition of slavery. All these things grew from the belief that that people bear God's image. Here's the heart of it. Jesus Christ is the true image of the invisible God. He walked among us, taught us, suffered for us, and rose again to restore that divine image marred by sin. He became like us so we could become like him. So what's the takeaway? It's that the person you find hardest to love still reflects the God who made you. It means life from the unborn child to the aged grandparent. It's all sacred. And it means that our calling is to treat every person as heaven's royalty. When we live that way, we're not just honoring people, we're honoring the God in whose image they and we were made.
the most important words on today's show, Jim Moseley. I truly believe that you have touched someone out there at this time, at this critical time in their lives with what you just said, because this network, this show, is all because of God. It's all God ordained. So thank you so much, Jim Moseley. Appreciate you.
Amen. Thank you, David.
Great stuff. All right, we're back with the second hour of American Sunrise in 2 minutes. Stick around, everybody.
Introducing the limited edition God Bless the USA Bible, inspired by Lee Greenwood's hit song and the most recognized patriotic anthem in America, God Bless the USA. The God Bless the USA large print leather-bound King James Bible also contains America's founding documents, the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance, along with a handwritten chorus to Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA. With its large print and slim design, this Bible invites you to explore God's Word anywhere, anytime. The God Bless the USA Bible makes the perfect gift and cherished family heirloom keepsake to pass on to future generations. Designed for an easy reading experience in the trusted King James Version translation, this large print Bible is perfect to take to church, Bible study, work, and for traveling. Order yours today at GodBlessTheUSABible.com.
If we've learned anything over the past few years, it's that devastating events can strike without warning. Global pandemics, acts of terror, and even bank collapses that can cause chaos in a matter of moments. And I just want you to be prepared. Hi, I'm Donald Trump Jr., and it's for these reasons that I strongly recommend a gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group. For thousands of years, gold has protected wealth through every kind of crisis. Birch Gold can show you how to move your retirement savings into an IRA in gold, legally and tax-free. For decades, they've helped thousands of Americans protect their IRA or 401k from unexpected events. To learn more, click below for your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group, the only gold company I trust. Don't wait for the next crisis to strike. Take action now to protect your family's financial future. Click below for your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page Publishing can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and in bookstores across the country. We'll even help you promote your book. That's right, we do all this for you. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. Call today for your free author submission kit and find out how you can be the next published author at Page Publishing.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257. That's 800-319-0257, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Coming up on American Sunrise, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. goes toe-to-toe with senators on the Senate Finance Committee. In light of recent chaos at the CDC, he was grilled by top Republicans and Democrats. The details are ahead. Plus, President Trump hosts America's tech kings in the White House. Apple's Tim Cook, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, and Microsoft founder Bill Gates all coming to pay respect to President Trump. One tech giant was missing, though. Here's a hint. Maybe he was doging the president. And House Republicans vote to create a new panel to investigate January 6th. Democrats call it a cover-up of facts. The GOP says it's about uncovering the truth. So much more on this second hour of American Sunrise, and it starts right now.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody, coming to you from D.C., heavily guarded by the National Guard. Let's bring in Emily Finn. She's in West Palm today, filling in for Dr. G and T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning to both of you. So what are your weekend plans? Can I just tell you my weekend plans? I'm going on a 20-mile bike ride around D.C. tomorrow morning at the ungodly hour of 6:30 in the morning. Don't ask me why I'm doing this. By about 3 p.m. or so tomorrow, I'll be in traction. So pray for me. Thank you.
Do you have your own bike, or are you renting a bike?
My wife has her own bike. She'll be there. She'll be there. My wife will be there. And no, I'll be on a tricycle. No, I'm renting a bike. You're
renting? Okay, so rent the right bike, seriously. Rent a touring bike, not like a mountain bike or anything. It makes it a little bit more difficult to rent like a touring bike or something. I'm telling you, and I'm only telling you from experience, because I called myself during the pandemic getting a bike to get some exercise, and I got like an old cheap mountain bike and called myself trying to go 3 miles, and I like to died. And then my buddies were like, dude, you got the wrong bike. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a little hint there, David, a little advice.
Bike tips today with T. Bates.
I must admit, guys, the only thing I have to contribute to this, I barely even know how to ride a bike. That's a horrible confession. I know. When I was a little kid, I was not an outdoor kid. I used to, just hang out inside, arts and crafts, video games, that kind of thing. Riding bikes was never my thing. I don't know if I could even do it. How embarrassing is that?
Oh, you can do it. We have
all right.
Plus, you're going to headbanging concerts this weekend, or you're doing something. I don't know. You're doing some more. I don't know who you see now. 9/11, 7/11. I don't know.
No concerts this weekend. We're gonna have to take a little bit of a break. I've been to like 20 so far, but Sting is coming up next. That's in a few weeks here in
You're
Palm Beach.
hardcore.
Yes.
You hardcore.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, let's get to this morning's headlines. At the White House, President Trump set to sign another executive order today. The EO will reportedly be to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War. As such, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth would also be able to use the title Secretary of War in official correspondence and public communication. Changing the name of a government department is rare and generally requires congressional approval. By the way, the Department of Defense was named the War Department until 1949, when Congress consolidated the Army, Navy, and Air Force following World War II. The move comes as President Trump seeks to end several wars and conflicts across the globe. Following today's executive order signing, the Commander-in-Chief also has an announcement scheduled. We're working to find out what that announcement will entail. The moment we find out, we'll of course let you know. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. facing a fiery and contentious hearing before the Senate Finance Committee. While facing really tough questions from both Democrats and Republicans on the panel, many of the interactions devolved into combativeness between the secretary and the Democrat senators in particular.
Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now... I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you... Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign? No, I'm saying... I don't think so.
I'm sorry, I get a kick out of that every time I hear that. I don't even know what you're talking about. RFK Jr. was specifically called to task over his moves to limit vaccine access and research. He was also criticized for the recent firing of the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Carissa Kloss, one of our friends from over at Weather Nation, joining us. Good morning to you. What's the big weather story of the day?
The big weather story of the day, it's feeling like fall, Terrence. We've got a couple of cold fronts that are going to bring us some storms, but we're going to see cooler air coming in from Canada. We're going to see wildfire smoke for part of the country, and that's going to impact your breathing. So stay tuned, because we've got to look at where that's going to be the worst. But here's the biggest culprit. This front causing some showers and thunderstorms this morning in the heart of the country. We've got another that's working its way towards the east coast and stalling out with rain expected the next several days over southern Florida. the tail end of that front with some tropical moisture in the southwest, bringing pockets of heavy rainfall near Vegas and into Arizona today. So another soggy forecast here. And we'll continue to see more and more of those showers and thunderstorms as we see a problem with that. Now, on the backside of that front, much cooler air coming into the northern parts of the country. We're talking highs in the 50s today, a very fall-like Friday night lights in the northern parts of the country. And that's where we have the wildfire smoke, the northwest into Wyoming and spilling right where you are, Terrence, into the I-25 corridor in Colorado. So it's going to be a bit smoky out there. No running today, Terrence. We already decided that. None. Terrence.
And I'm all on board on that. No running. The only stop I'm going to make is at a pizza spot, and I'll go sit in front of my recliner and just chill. Thank you very much for giving me an excuse to just kind of hang out. Carissa, you are my best friend. Thanks so much.
Always.
All right. Now let's get you over to David Brody as we continue the show. David, this may be your excuse not to ride the 20-mile bike ride. You can say, well, I'm going to be affected by the wildfires up in Canada, so I can't do it. There you go. See, I gave you a built-in excuse.
That is a great point. Sorry, wildfires. I'm out. I'm going to sit still this weekend. Great point. Great point. All right, let's turn to our top story. T-Bates this hour. Health Secretary RFK Jr., as you were talking about there, hauled before the Senate as the CDC implodes. Trump's team is cleaning out the corrupt bureaucracy, and the swamp is screaming, like shrieking, like Elizabeth Warren. Even Republican Senator, by the way, Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, who once backed Kennedy, barely, now questions his moves. The message that Trump is forcing Democrats and Republicans to face the failure of the old guard. Accountability is back. The swamp doesn't like it. Listen to some of the more of the hearing. Have a look.
There's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical industry.
Hold on. So you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors. And everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe President Trump should have asked you, are you a trustworthy person? And we should have waited for an answer then. Let's move on.
I don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking gibberish.
Mr. Secretary, let me speak slowly and clearly so that you can understand me through my New Mexico accent.
And then give me a chance to answer.
Does this help? Can you understand me?
You've been over HHS for 7 months now. Have you ever been briefed by CDC's career immunization officials to discuss your concerns?
And by the way, every member of this panel has criticized President Trump and demonized him.
Have you ever
Are
been
you
briefed?
complicit in the assassination attempts on President Trump?
Sir, I'm asking the questions. You are the witness.
I mean, this had to be put on Bravo TV. This is like Real Housewives without Cerise overturning the table. All right, for more, let's welcome to American Sunrise. That would be RAD's chief White House correspondent, Brian Glenn. Brian, I'll tell you what. First of all, give me a break with Democrats trying to lecture on science. They can't even figure out that there are only two genders. They think there's 193, maybe 197 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that hearing was brought to you by Pfizer and every other pharmaceutical company out there, because that's who's basically funding all those senates that sit on that panel. But you're absolutely right. You're getting lectured about your health from people who claimed men can give birth, who claim you can just switch genders and just spin the wheel. Pick your gender. That's what you can become. So to listen to all of that, it was fun to watch. I agree with you on that. And I love RFK. He really held his own on this. And millions of Americans have questions about these vaccines and about childhood obesity rates going up. These are all very conversational, common sense topics we're talking about. But when you're faced with senators and many, not just we know Republicans and Democrats, when you're funded by Big Pharma, they're going to push back on absolutely everything you bring up.
Hey, Brian, since you're there at the White House, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about today's announcement and the EO. We're hearing reports that President Trump is going to rename the Department of Defense to the Department of War. What are you hearing there at the White House specific to that? And then beyond that, there's this 4 o'clock, I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern announcement. Any idea of what the president is going to announce?
I don't in regards to that, but the Department of War, I mean, that's kind of going back to kind of the original name of all of that. And it does have a different connotation. It does have a different feel than the Department of Defense. And of course, the Secretary of War has a very, I would think, a very aggressive title to that. That was, I thought, was expected to be announced last night, or last week, I should say. It's expected to be announced today. I'd like to know people's thoughts on that. You can obviously drop your comments down below. That's what it is. I mean, it's a different stance. I hope that this is not signaling maybe some type of involvement in a future bigger escalation. But as of later today, it looks like it will be renamed. Now, we'll have to find out exactly what the implications of that and the procedures of that involves. But there you go, the Department of War.
If I could just follow up, Brian, because I think you make a great point. The implication, it is kind of an aggressive, or it appears to be an aggressive name change, just in terms of implication and context. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I do. I mean, is it something that we're getting ourselves set up for, 27, 28? Is there something that we don't know? Obviously, that's putting on a little bit of a tinfoil hat on that. But you do have to think about what prompted a name change on this. And this is nothing new. I mean, this goes back to getting rid of the Department of Education and renaming some other, monuments and things like that. But renaming a complete department, but going back to, the War Department, Department of War, it does question a little bit of motivation behind that. I'm hoping it's just kind of the connotation that is show strength rather than being in a defensive posture. I don't know, just my personal thoughts, but it is a very interesting name change.
Yeah, Brian, only about 30 seconds left with you here, but I do want to get your reaction to this.
Yep.
President Trump hosted America's Tech Kings last night in the White House Rose Garden. A lot of attention on this. What has been the buzz?
Well, the buzz on social media, people were very upset that Mark Zuckerberg was allowed to go into the East Room and have that dinner with President Trump after we went through Zuckerbucks back in Michigan, funding all of that, and also kicking millions of Americans off Facebook because of their conservative stance. They weren't happy about that. Weren't happy about Bill Gates, and no, Bill Gates, I'm not going to eat your rubber chicken, your bugs, or anything like that. I'm not interested in being transhumanism, not a gene modification. A lot of Americans are against what he stands for, but nevertheless, he is a tech mogul. He was invited to that dinner last night, and some of the questions coming out of there was very interesting. If you just read the chats, people aren't really happy about it, but you can respect the fact that those are our tech leaders, and they do have a good relationship with President Trump, which they need to have, and they understand that. But in the eyes of in the public opinion, they're not very happy about it.
And Brian, interesting enough, Elon Musk was not present. I think that's an interesting mention. I'm just going to put that on the dinner table. And
he had a conflict. I don't
by the way, real quickly, before we go, guys, we've got a very familiar face. It's here at the White House. Miss Allison Hans has joined me today.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Allison.
It's so good to see you.
Everyone says hello.
Hi. Brian's doing an amazing job. Everybody loves him here.
Well.
And we love him as well.
Your
Brian,
check
we love
hasn't
you
cleared
guys
yet,
both.
so
What a treat to be
Brian
with
and
you.
Allison. Thanks so much, you guys. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Gotta go.
Appreciate
Coming up here on American Sunrise, we are going to be digging into all the big stories, including House Republicans authorizing a new January 6th subcommittee. They're reigniting a fierce political battle in Washington as Democrats call it a partisan stunt, and warning that it distorts history instead of delivering justice. We're back with more American Sunrise in just a moment.
Oh. Hey, did you find the manual?
Yes, of course I found it. No, I need that.
Summon Dale!
Who's Dale?
A real human.
I'm Dale. American Home Show now provides video chat with live repair experts for home fixes over the phone. Let's go fix that oven.
Okay, Dale.
I need my phone back. Fix it over video chat with American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
Tired of the hassle and high cost of selling a home? We can help. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
We got the top dollar for our house and the lowest commission that I could have imagined. The house sold in 2 days. It was so exciting for us.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide, there's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be seeing this. Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be seeing this. Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be using this. Particle 6-in-1 Face Cream for Men, the first of its kind anti-aging cream designed specifically for men. Fights eye bags, dark spots, and wrinkles. Visit particlemen.com and use the promo code on your screen to receive 25% off your entire order. Plus, we've got free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee. www.particlemen.com. Because seeing is believing.
Let's spill some tea.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. Let's spill some tea, fueled by Artillery Tea Company, the only America First veteran-owned tea brand. And their mission, maximize flavor with whole leaf blends and chemical-free tea bags. No junk, just real tea. And here's the tactical advantage. Each bag brews twice. Just go to artillerytco.com and use the code PAYLOAD for 15% off of your order. Again, that's artillerytco.com. Premium tea, mission-driven and brewed for the brave. It is time now to spill some tea, and who is in the cup today? HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in hot water during a contentious hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday. Here's another fiery exchange from that hearing, this time with Oregon Senator Ron Wyden. Take a look.
To change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I get a reply? Or, Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm going to let. If you want to know what you think, let us know on Rumble or Getter. Hop on and let your voice be heard. Coming up, we're headed down to Wall Street for the opening bell and insight into how to hold on to your hard-earned dollars with some common sense. We'll be back with more American Sunrise in just 2 minutes. Stick with us.
Fellow Americans, did you know a war is being waged right now for how you spend your hard-earned dollars? Over 100 countries worldwide are preparing to switch to a digital currency. Now, this means cash will be replaced by money governments can monitor and track. This tracking makes it possible to collect data from every purchase you make and the ability to decide what you can buy and when you can buy it. What's more, your assets can be frozen or even seized. I'm appalled at such an assault on financial privacy. My friends at Swiss America have a report called The Secret War on Cash with an action plan to protect your financial privacy. So please, call or text the number on your screen for a free copy. With the growing reality of a government-backed digital currency, the time to act is now. So call or text the number on your screen for your free Secret War report.
How does the world's most trusted dog expert keep his own dog so healthy?
Hi, I am Cesar Milan. In my 20 years rehabilitating dogs, I've seen too many struggle with health problems that no amount of training could fix. Then I discovered it wasn't the dog, it was their food. Fortunately, I found veterinarian Dr. Marty's anti-kibble breakthrough.
Nature's Blend is packed with whole foods that are freeze-dried, locking in nutrients.
I saw remarkable improvements in my dogs within weeks.
Try Dr. Marty risk-free for 90 days. Plus, get a free gift when you call or visit drmartypets.com/Caesar.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
Wow, what a gorgeous shot. New Hampshire, and it feels like fall we're hearing. Those of you going to some of those Friday night football games tonight, it should be a little cooler. It won't be scorching hot. Should be comfortable for you. Anyway, we're getting ready for the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It is set to ring here in just a few minutes. The jobs report is out and unemployment is up slightly. Jobs created in August were down just a little bit. We'll get more details on that momentarily. Could that potentially affect the markets, though, later on today? Who knows? We'll, of course, find out. In the meantime, things looking good in pre-market trading. As you can see, most of our board is in the green. Hopefully it stays that way. Again, we'll take you to the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange here in short order. But now let's get you over to David. David, good morning.
Okay, good morning, T. Bates. Let's talk more about the jobs cut, or the jobs report, I should say, which, anyhow, let's get to it. It's time for our daily dose of dollars and common sense with American Sunrise Early Edition host, guy behind Jake's Take Substack, Jake Novak. All right, Jake, let's get to that big August jobs report. Just came out about 45 minutes ago. Numbers not good, Jake.
No, it said that only 22,000 net new jobs were created in August, and that was lower than even the already pretty low expectation of 75,000. There was some good news in the report. If you do have a job, the average earnings, hourly earnings for workers went up pretty nicely, so that's good news. But you know what? The markets like this low number, David. Bad news is good news because the markets are obsessed, as I told you on this program, they're obsessed with the Fed. And this weaker jobs report means that the Fed will be under even more pressure to almost definitely cut interest rates later this month. If you're looking to refinance your mortgage or maybe buy a new house, just hold on a minute there because mortgage rates are going to come down pretty hard today because that's this reaction to this report, again, ahead of what the Fed is expected to do now with interest rates. So it's good for stocks. The markets are going to rally today, at least at the outset. They rallied yesterday in expectation of this weak report. But again, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. If you are working, you're making more. We're still creating jobs. It's still positive. But obviously, we need lower interest rates to get this economy moving. We need a few other things, too. But we got to start with the lower interest rates.
Any sense of why it's so low? Like even lower than the 75,000? I mean, this is dramatically lower.
Yeah, well, we know that the left and the mainstream news media is going to blame the tariffs. I don't think it's that. I think because the tariffs have been around for a while now, and this hasn't happened yet. I actually think we need to start looking into more AI, and not just in the big tech sector. David, I have friends at some very big law firms in New York and D.C. who have told me that their firms are not hiring any new graduates now because AI does all the work that first-year associates used to do. This can't just be in the legal community. I think that AI might be really starting to take its toll here. It can't be the only reason, but we should take a look at that pretty closely.
By the way, real quick, you mentioned mortgage rates. What's the average mortgage rate right now? About 6.5, 6.75? What is it right now? And what do you think?
Lower.
You think it's going to go down by? It's lower. Go ahead.
I do, yeah. We're about 6.4 right now, and that's low. It's certainly a lot lower than it was. And again, remember, under the Biden administration, it shot up from historic lows to crazy high levels. I think that we now, because of this number and what's going on right now in the bond market, we are likely to see the average 30-year mortgage rate get below 6% in the coming days.
Really?
That will be a very, very big psychological change. Even, David, even if it's 5.9999, I think that will be a huge psychological change for people. Also for refinancing. Your monthly cost to refinance are going to go down. And this will help the jobs market, by the way, as well, because people will go to Home Depot, buy that new house, do the improvements they need to do it, or spruce up the house to sell it. It can really help the economy.
All right, let's talk now about our Sydney Sweeney business update. You knew this was going to happen. All the left-wing hysteria against the American Eagle Outfitter commercials with Sydney Sweeney, there she is in her jeans, led to, she's got great jeans, by the way, led to huge sales, and now that's led to a move in the stock price. So talk about that.
Yeah, how are these numbers for you, David? American Eagle Outfitters shares rose 38% in one day yesterday. That's a massive move higher because that was in response to their reports about how their sales were heavily boosted by this ad campaign. By the way, American Eagle Outfitters, they weren't doing so well before this. This is a huge resurrection for the company. And hey, lefty people, start whatever you did to Sydney Sweeney and the jeans, please do it to me. I would love to have that kind of a jump. And by the way, over the last 3 months, American Eagle Outfitters shares are up 85%. So, almost doubling in their value. This is a huge deal. This controversy did everything that I think some of the folks knew was going to happen. Maybe not the people who actually put the ad campaign together, but as soon as some people pushed back on it, I think they realized what they had. Getting President Trump to mention it didn't hurt either. Seriously, this is one of those things that reminds me of Billy Joel when they came after him for some of his songs, and he asked certain groups to please keep boycotting my songs because it goes straight to #1.
Yeah, by the way, I hope Sydney Sweeney has a good agent and got some sort of deal on some stock there. I don't know. Seriously. I mean, I don't know what her deal is, but, anyhow. All right. The gearheads, Jake, they've been doing a lot of testing on which cars and trucks are the most reliable, as in the ones that last the longest. So what's the ratings? What vehicle came in best here, Jake? We've got about a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't surprise the viewers to know that Toyota has really, really long-lasting vehicles. Listen, have you seen the prices of new cars nowadays? You might want to keep your car a little bit longer like we used to in the old days. The Toyota Tundra is #1. You have a 37% chance if you buy that truck that it will get to the 250,000-mile mark. That's pretty amazing. The #1 American car on that list on the top 10 was the Chevy Suburban. It has about a 22% chance. But folks, do your maintenance on your cars. You will save so much money if you keep your car longer. I know people used to get into the habit of changing it every 3 years. You keep a car 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you will be putting money in your pocket, plain and simple.
15 seconds, Jake. It's Friday. Got a Jets prediction? You are gangrene, if you will.
Yeah, I'm predicting a loss, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think they're going to lose to the Steelers. But it's also going to rain, so I'm predicting a wet crowd, and they won't be able to see their tears because of the rain, so the tears will blend in.
So that's basically a victory, a close loss. We take that as a victory. Jake Novak, great to see you, my friend.
My pleasure.
All right, time for T-Bait. Speaking of losses, let's talk about the Bears. Ooh, okay. That comment might not necessarily be sponsored by AMAC, but his segment is. Here it is.
The Association of Mature American Citizens is the conservative voice for Americans 50 and older. AMAC is fighting for the values that you hold dear. Join today. Together, we can write the course of America.
Shots fired. David Brody. Wow. Okay. I see what you're doing there. The applause is underway at the New York Stock Exchange, which means we are moments away from the opening bell ringing, and then we'll get an idea of how the markets are shaping up on this final day of trading of this work week. Let's just see. Here we go. There's the bell, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are now officially open, and just like that, it looks like all of the major indices, at least, are continuing to be in the green. The Dow, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ are all up. Hopefully that's a good sign of things to come. Again, there's lots of information out there, lots of new information that potentially could affect the market, specifically the jobs report that just came out, and it was a little worse than was expected, but we'll, of course, see how it ultimately pans out here on this day of trading. When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think, well, maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Whether it's a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or if it's just for sensible diversification, the Birch Gold Group believes that every American should own physical gold. So they created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, the Birch Gold Group is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. If you'd like to claim eligibility and start the process, Request an information kit right now. In order to get that kit, all you have to do is text the word America to the number 989898. Plus, the Birch Gold Group can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for a rebate of free metals up to $10,000. The Birch Gold Group is the only precious metals company so many Americans trust, and they've got tens of thousands of customers. Make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to 10 grand when you buy by September 30th. Again, just text the word America to the number 989898 to make it happen. Well, crime is down, the economy is up, and President Trump surges to his highest approval rating yet. We'll break down the latest poll numbers when American Sunrise returns.
Selling your home shouldn't be expensive or stressful. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
Ideal Agent connected me with the best realtor in my market, and I saved $12,500 as a result of it, and I got more than my asking price.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide, there's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be seeing this. Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be seeing this. Most men over 40 look into the mirror and see this, when they could be using this. Particle 6-in-1 Face Cream for Men. The first of its kind anti-aging cream designed specifically for men. Fights eye bags, dark spots, and wrinkles. Visit ParticleMen.com and use the promo code on your screen to receive 25% off your entire order. Plus, we've got free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee. www.ParticleMen.com. Because seeing is believing.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System, a triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Infrared heat penetrates deep to reduce pain, soothe, and relax. The Ultra Shiatsu pillow with 6 heated nodes mimics a professional massage. Plus, it's detachable for deep relief anywhere you need it. Experience the true remedy for your pain and stiffness. Call now.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. I am Emily Finn, filling in today for Dr. Gina. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do invite you to join the conversation on Getter and Rumble. Time now to take the political pulse of America and the beat today. President Donald Trump hits his highest approval ever, 55%. Americans back his crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. Violent crime is down nearly 40% now, and robberies are cut in half. At the same time, the economy is growing, stocks are hitting record highs. Democrats spread rumors about Trump's health, but the public sees him working. The result is a surge in support, and Trump delivers safety, prosperity, and stability. The people are approving. David, what say you about all of this? I can't say I'm surprised.
Well, yeah, so I wanted to say a quick thing about this. I don't want to be womp womp on the poll, but let me be womp womp on the poll. I don't believe it. I don't think it's 55%. And the Real Clear Politics average says it's 45%, and I don't believe that either. I think his average is typically around 48 to 50%. That's typically where he's been, and I think it'll always just be around there for a lot of different reasons. One is the metrics of these polls. They're skewed to the left a little bit, number one. Not all polls. Clearly, that 55% poll was an outlier. I don't believe it. So I'm just here to simply say, let's calm down here. When I say calm down, not that we're all riled up, but I'm just saying that 55% I don't think is accurate. And I don't think we should buy into, I mean, in MAGA land, it's 97%, right? But I think overall, Trump doesn't ever poll well for the metrics in the polls, and also because he's a divisive figure, T. Bates.
I think you make some great points there. And when you're talking about polls, there's always a lot of white noise out there that goes into how people ultimately vote and all of that. So you can't necessarily, put a whole lot of stock in what the polls say. But I think what you can put stock in is what President Trump is doing, what the Trump administration is doing. And it's an active administration. It's an administration, whether you like what he's doing or not, it's absolutely active and it's transparent. So the American people know what is going on. And I think that ultimately is going to help President Trump and, more importantly, Republicans, particularly Republicans running for re-election in the midterms, more so than any potential poll numbers.
Yeah, I think that's spot on there, Terrence. I don't think Americans are tired of winning. All right, we are going to turn now to another top story. House Republicans moving to uncover the full truth about January 6th. A new panel led by Congressman Barry Loudermilk of Georgia with subpoena power will re-examine what Democrats ignored. Speaker Mike Johnson says the American people deserve the facts, and Democrats cry foul, call it a cover-up. Reality, it's about transparency. Trump's pardons cleared the slate, and now Republicans will clear the record. Let's welcome to American Sunrise, Rav's very own Donna Fiducia, co-host of Cowboy Logic. Donna, welcome to the show. I must say, I do love the T-shirt you've got on today.
I got you hooked on the beaver nuggets, didn't I,
blame
Emily?
you
Yes.
for that addiction.
Well, we went on a road trip, and you can't go on a road trip unless you can go to Buc-ee's. So I just figured I would bring it back home with everybody for a while. But we were in Utah, and we will talk about that a little bit later on with Cowboy Logic this weekend. A lot of Jan Sixers were there, as well as some of our Rav chatters. But getting back to what's going on with this Loudermilk thing, you can't know the facts, Jamie Raskin, if you never looked at them. Jamie Raskin was one of the actors, I guess, in that Hollywood movie. Remember, they had a Hollywood production company there that day, trying to film it with Alexandra Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's daughter. And they tried to make it look like it was a total setup, they tried to make it look like it was real when it was a total setup. Let's talk about the subject matter experts. Barry Loudermilk has one chance to do the right thing. There was a Smith & Wesson 9mm in a Kydex We the People holster. That just doesn't happen. They just don't drop. With an additional magazine, all on Bagshaw's body cam around 2:27 p.m. Now, we at Cowboy Logic have talked about this for close to 2 years. And by the way, the hammer was cocked. They wanted this gun to go off. And then it was kicked over to Bagshaw, who just, when nobody around picked it up and took the bait, just kind of picked it up and nonchalantly handed it off. Now, let me ask you, is there a report about that gun anywhere? Did they look at that in the sham J6 committee? No, the sham J6 committee is pretty much living up to their name. It was a total sham. And it's almost like everything we've seen, guys, in the past, couple of years with the Democrats. Everything they say, the truth is absolutely the opposite. Look at what they did to RFK Jr. yesterday in those hearings. Just totally distorting the truth, totally their head in the sand. I think the problem is they're in a death roll. They know that this was a Fedsurrection, not an insurrection, and they want to suppress all the evidence.
All right, Donna, let me just be blunt. Do you really expect anything to come out of this Barry Loudermilk committee? And I asked that question in the context of Republicans said a year ago they were going to release all this video and the American people were going to have all this transparency. Where is it? It ain't happened.
Yeah.
You're a lot more plugged in than I am, but I haven't seen a whole lot of it. I'm sorry, but I really want to know, do you really have a lot of confidence, Donna?
Well, I don't have a lot of confidence in D.C. in general because it really is a swamp. Fair. But he does have subpoena power this time, and he has one chance to do the right thing. We know the subject matter experts. If you want the facts, Congressman Loudermilk, just email us at info@cowboylogic.us. We will tell you who you should talk to. Subpoena these J6 subject matter experts. These were J6ers who were in prison for over 4 years before, thank God, they were pardoned. They did have a chance to look at all of this video. They want to testify under oath before Congress, and it will blow your mind when you hear what they will have to say. Perhaps that's the problem, you guys. They really don't want to hear it, at least Congress.
Donna, what's the ask? So let's say they email you. Let's say he picks up the phone and calls you. What are you telling him specific? I mean, when I want to be specific, like what's the specific ask in terms of what you want this, justice, right? I get justice, right? But what do you actually want to see happen?
I want to see justice for the people who tried to frame this. To me, David,
what does that mean? But what is justice? What does that mean? Like in other words, give me like the result of what you want to see. That's what I'm asking.
Let these people testify before Congress under oath, and it will show the American people how the federal government lied to us for 5 years on just another thing. First, it was COVID, and there's so many things past that. But these people are subject matter experts. If they can testify, you will see a very different picture. And let that finally come out. Just like RFK is talking about the CDC and all the things about the COVID vaccine that has been suppressed. Our government has lied to us. This was a Fedsurrection. If somebody had picked up that gun that day and it went off, you know damn well the first thing you'd hear was, we need to get rid of the Second Amendment. And that's what this was. And nobody in a million-plus group took the bait and picked that gun up. This needs to happen,
Donna,
and if they want to do the right thing.
Donna, once the real picture comes out, once these subject matter experts testify, then what? Should there be arrests? Should there be indictments? What's next? I think that's what we're trying to get at.
Absolutely. I think there should be. And I think that's why they're fighting back against it so hard, because they were all in on this. You've got AOC saying, oh, she was so scared. She was hiding in the bathroom. And it came out later on that she wasn't even in that building. And then what about the pipe bomber? I mean, that's all we've heard about from Dan Bongino. We know that the pipe bomber possibly was a Fed. So let's find out about that. What really is so disconcerting is the fact that we have our people in there now, and this still isn't coming out. And David, I do agree with you on that. Unfortunately, the bid and the ask is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Donna, I do want to move on a bit here, still staying on the topic of January 6th. You are the expert, the go-to on all of this for us. You know, Trump did pardon some of the January 6th defendants, but now their lawyers want compensation. This is something that we've spoken to you about a few times on the show in the past. Where does all of that stand?
Well, Eagle Ed Martin, who is really doing an awesome job for the Trump administration, has said, yes, pay Jan Sixers. I want to pay Jan Sixers. You know, nothing is going to make these people whole. It's unbelievable how bad they are struggling. We are working with Stand in the Gap. They really are trying to help these Jan Sixers. They've lost everything. Imagine if you just walked in one day, your house was raided, you lost your job, your family in many cases said, oh, look, I'm out of here because you're going to be in prison for 7 years. We're going to move on. You lost your cars. You lost your futures. You lost your salaries. Some of these people were making well into six figures, and just everything got stopped for 4 years. The compensation would certainly help. It makes it a lot easier. But I got to tell you, many of these people are, in fact, most of them are really struggling. Even if they do have their jobs back, it's a huge problem. You've got most of these people, 73% that were in the gulag, are also former military. They have PTSD. They have health issues. We lost Bart Shively already. Stage 2 going in, Stage 4 coming out. And Judge Cobb said, well, you're not going to die on my watch, so I'm going to let you out. That's just one of the issues. And unfortunately, he passed away a couple months ago. So there's so many heartbreaking stories in this that these people will never be made whole. But, you know, unfortunately, or I should say fortunately, maybe some compensation would certainly help.
For sure. Hey, Donna, we've got about 30 seconds. What's ahead this weekend on Cowboy Logic?
Well, we're going to take you to the Daggett Heritage PRCA Rodeo in Manila, Utah. They have supported the Jan Sixers for the last 3+ years, and we had a couple Jan Sixers with us there, as well as some Rav chatters. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see you there. And by the way, many folks there had great genes, too. Okay, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Saturday, and again, 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. And for you folks on the West Coast, 2 a.m., or if you have insomnia, because I'm in the chat a lot of times, Monday morning at 2 a.m. We hope to see you there in the barn party. And, of course, our drummers are already drumming in the chat. You can see it.
All right. Don, appreciate you. Tell Don, I know he's somewhere close. Tell him I said what's up and I'm sending him a hug. Thanks so much.
He is. Thank you, guys. Love you.
All right. Love you as well.
Love you, Donna.
So here's a question for you. Are you drowning in bills and high interest rates? If so, the solution may be on the other side of this commercial break. Stick around.
Poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galena. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
If you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
Welcome back to American Sunrise. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let's be honest, Americans are getting crushed by debt. And when you're buried in credit card and loan debt, it's easy to put it off and think, okay, I'll just deal with this later. But if you wait, you could miss out. The experts at Done With Debt discovered a new strategy that can dramatically reduce or even eliminate your debt entirely. But it only works right now. So today we have invited Jillian Barbary to join us. You know her as a TV personality, but what you may not know is that she's lived through this debt stress herself. Jillian, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much and happy Friday. I'm so honored to be here. Yes, I did go through it. Some people know my story, some don't, but the bottom line is I got cancer, divorced, and I lost my job of like 25 years all at the same time. And it just floored me. I wish I had known about Done With Debt sooner. But the bottom line is we tell you if you are going through any sort of financial situation, you can get back on track. But the first thing, the number one thing to do right now is not to pay your next bill until you go on the website, donewithdebt.com. We have a team of experts that will lead you. They are master negotiators. They will talk to the credit card companies, the banking institutions, and they can settle your debts for pennies on the dollar, or have some of them wiped out entirely, which has happened in the past. And some people ended up with money in their pocket. But if you keep stuffing those envelopes away or avoiding those calls, it's not going to happen. So donewithdebt.com, there is a team. Think of them as your own sort of team around you that will automatically cut off these phone calls and the letters. Like that happens literally overnight. And I know that stress of sitting at dinner and not being present. You know, I had 2 kids. I was a single mom fighting breast cancer. I was working in radio, thankfully, because I was bald. But, you know, the stress of not being present, thinking, what's going to happen next while you're trying to feed your kids, you know, it was a horrible time. And I think back on it and I think, gosh, I really wish a friend told me about them, but it was maybe 2 years in where I was pulling out the hair that I didn't have. So donewithdebt.com, again, they are amazing. If you go on the website, you can get a free consultation and actually speak with, or look at the testimonials. Look at some of the testimonials of the people, Americans, hardworking Americans, just like you, not endlessly spending on, you know, luxury bags and vacations, but just trying to make ends meet, paying their kids for their kids' schools and, you know, putting dinner on the table and working long hours. It can catch up to you. And if you don't have that extra fund beside you, like that eggshell that is going to help you on that rainy day, right. You never know when it's going to happen. For me, it was cancer. You don't know what it could be, and job loss and divorce. So, you know, you don't know. So Done With Debt, they are amazing. I've met with them. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, we met at a big party and it was just, oh my gosh, they are such great people. Yeah. They know what they're doing. They've been around a while and they can help you get out of debt, but do not make the next payment before you go to donewithdebt.com.
It sounds like they can certainly help in situations. You know, Jillian, everyone goes through tough times. Everyone falls upon some tough luck. But wow, that was quite the storm that you had to walk through. A really tough time there. So tell us, you know, for anyone that wants to consider going to Done With Debt, why now? What makes this the right time for them to check it out?
Okay, so the right time is yesterday. I always tell people if they're in any kind of money situation, the right time yesterday. Do it before it, because here's the deal. Time is ticking. And what happens is your penalties add up, as mine did. So if you ignore, it's okay for them. You're just a name or a number on a roster that'll come around again, right? And so when it does, it's more money now and then more money. It's like a pylon. And so if you're not dealing with it right now, you are going to be in some bigger trouble. So yesterday was the day to do it, and you still can get a hold on it, but you have to act, okay? So yes, my number one thing is always don't pay the next bill until you talk to donewithdebt.com. And I'm telling you, these guys and gals are master negotiators. They know what they're doing. They are in touch with all of these institutions that we as Americans, average American workers, we don't know. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes at the banking institutions or what deals they're offering or, credit card companies. So they can help you. And I said, sometimes get your debt wiped free. And we have it.
It is certainly helpful to have assistance. You know, this is sometimes a really tough, daunting kind of situation, staring into the pit of debt. So Jillian Barbary, thank you so much for sharing more with us today. Appreciate you coming on American Sunrise.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great weekend.
You too. All right, still to come, a stranded deaf traveler, no cash and no options. Then one officer steps up. That story is coming up next on American Sunrise.
Selling your home shouldn't be expensive or stressful. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
Ideal Agent connected me with the best realtor in my market, and I saved $12,500 as a result of it, and I got more than my asking price.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide, there's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Hello, my friend. Pat Boone here. You know our country's under financial assault like never before. Our government has put us $34 trillion in debt. The interest alone's more than we spend on military defense. And what's worse, other countries no longer believe the U.S. is a safe place to invest. There's a growing international movement to dump U.S. dollars at a record pace. Some economists say this may signal the end of the dollar. Now, these countries are instead buying gold, and I'm suggesting you do the same. My friends at Swiss America have been helping Americans like you and me for over 40 years to buy physical gold and silver for delivery to our homes or held in our IRAs. I've trusted Swiss America for nearly 25 years now, and you can trust them too. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these troubling times.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing? If you've written a book, Page can help you through the process. We cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, we get you printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and bookstores. We'll even promote your book.
Call for your free writer's guide, 800-319-0257, or scan the QR code now.
All right, welcome back to American Sunrise. Thank you so much for joining us today. Time now for the sunny side up, and in the pan today, an act of kindness making headlines. A police officer in Ohio met a stranded deaf traveler who missed his bus, and his cash and luggage were still on board. With no way to get home, the officer stepped in, called a translator line to communicate, and then used his own money to buy the man a train ticket to New York, where he could reunite with his bus and make it back home to Canada. A simple act, but a powerful reminder that, as the officer put it, we're supposed to be good men. Take a look at how he described the situation.
And it turns out it was just a male who was deaf and didn't speak English or read English. So it just turned out he just needed help to get on a bus back to New York, eventually to Montreal. Officer Kiso hooked his phone up to do an internet hotspot. And then from there, we called the translator line and were able to finally basically boil it down to that he didn't have any cash and he needed a way out and his bags were missing. Simply used my own bank card to buy the guy a ticket. We're supposed to be good men helping other good men. That's it.
That is awesome. I think that's, like I said, a very powerful reminder that this is people helping people. This is what you have to do. Just be good to others and treat them with love and respect.
Yeah, and no strings attached, right? In other words, we don't know if someone was liberal or conservative. Who cares, right? I mean, like I remember I did this a little while back. I would just pay for someone behind me in the drive-through line, just say, hey, I got their order. Now, beforehand, I didn't get out of my car and go, excuse me, do you watch MSNBC? Are you a liberal? I didn't do that, right? You just do it, right? I mean, if you're drowning in the ocean and you go and save someone, are you really going to look at them and go, hey, before I save you, real quick, just check it on your liberal or conservative credentials? I mean, that's why I love just do a good deed, for goodness sake, and don't worry about the rest.